Meet Harkin. Without a doubt, the absolute strongest powerhouse in his entire guild. So one day, his squad gets completely cornered, about to get wiped out by the Thunder Queen herself, Siro. Right when the execution order drops and all hope seems lost, boom, Harkin crashes the party to protect his crew, and he is definitely strong enough to solo this mess. He tells his buddies to just chill, but here is the insane part. The real threat? Standing right behind him. His own friends stab him in the back with a literal fatal strike. Seriously, the worst kind of betrayal always comes from your inner circle. Siro just laughs, bragging about paying his team a few million to flip. Meanwhile, Harkin? He is broke. He needs this game to survive. And now he loses everything. Dying in this game? That means instant real-world bankruptcy for our boy, whose real name is Jayhun. He actually thought loyalty meant something. Yeah, money talks louder. Waking up in his cramped room, he just screams pure, absolute rage over this brutal loss. By the way, Warlord is the biggest virtual reality game on the planet. Top-tier players make absolute fortunes here. Jayhun had god-tier skills, but stayed with his small-time guild out of pure loyalty. They took him in first, so he stayed. Big mistake. Completely seeing red. He grabs his jacket and sprints outside. He is literally hunting down these traitors for some real-life payback. His so-called buddy actually calls his phone, but Jayhun is too blind with fury to notice the red traffic light. Bam! The classic truck of destiny slams into him full force. Brutal injuries everywhere, but even bleeding out. He is just thinking about those backstabbers. He swears ultimate revenge. Then, everything shifts. He blinks, and suddenly, he is standing right in the middle of the Warlord beginner tutorial. The system flashes a quest to hunt a minotaur. He is standing there, completely lost, when two random players start screaming his name. They frantically beg for help, panicking as they explain this boss just destroyed their whole squad. Now, it is just the three of them left against this massive beast. Jayhun stares at this colossal nightmare. Wait a second. Was not this boss patched out of the game 5 whole years ago because it was way too hard? The other guys just look at him like he is crazy. The game came out 10 months ago, man. And right there, the truth hits him like a freight train. He time-traveled 5 years back. As these two newbies start crying for him to help fight the boss, he just grips his blade and rushes in, completely solo. The Minotaur swings hard, but Jayhun dodges effortlessly. A blur of motion, and he slices the thing to literal pieces. Jaws hit the floor. These guys are absolutely stunned and instantly beg him to join their guild. But right then, flashbacks hit. He remembers his old crew and how they sold him out to the highest bidder. Zero hesitation, he strikes both of them down on the spot. His mind is made up. In this second life, he is never trusting a single soul again. Logging out, he jolts awake in the real world. Blinking, he realizes he is not home. He is sitting inside a store that sells Warlord V gear. Then it clicks. 5 years ago, he was too broke for a setup, forcing him to grind on store demo units. The reality of his regression finally sinks in deep. He is really back in the past. And honestly, there is absolutely zero time to waste. Jayhun holds the ultimate cheat code. He has 5 years of hardcore gaming experience and max-tier combat instincts. Play this right, and his brutal revenge is guaranteed. So, he rushes up front, desperately trying to put a shiny new V-Gear unit on his credit card. The cashier gets totally spooked by his wild-eyed intensity, but still tries to process the payment anyway. But while Jayhun is busy plotting absolute carnage, the clerk drops a bomb. His card just declined. Insufficient funds, man. Reality check. Right, he is totally broke. If he had cash, he would not be sweating in a public demo chair to begin with. Sure, his bank account is crying right now, but Jayhun knows making insane money inside Warlord is just a matter of time. First, though, he desperately needs that rig. Suddenly, he glances at a giant billboard. It is the Thunder Queen Siro in an ad trying to recruit more players to Warlord. This girl was literally worshipped as a global gaming idol. That is exactly why she is the face of the franchise. Seeing his murderer makes his blood boil, but Jayhun knows he does not have alternatives. He cannot afford to be picky right now. Fast forward a bit. A massive V-Gear capsule arrives right at his home. The tech guy sets the equipment up, leaving it perfectly ready for a deep dive. How did he pay for it? Simple. He took out a terrifying loan. We are talking 10 million won straight from a shady loan shark. The underworld boss literally handed over that massive stack of cash without a single second thought. Of course, it came with a literal knife to the throat. Pay up, or things get ugly. Jayhun hated crossing this line, but desperate times call for desperate measures. It was his only play. He would happily crawl through the darkest pits of hell, if it meant finally tearing down the absolute scumbags who stabbed him in the back. Anything for his ultimate revenge. Taking a breath, he climbs into his very own V-Gear cabin, syncing up and instantly logging back into Warlord as his legendary avatar, Harkin. Spawning back into the game, Jayhun smiles. It is time for a very important character to appear. Right on cue, an NPC materializes out of thin air, clapping and congratulating him for surviving the tutorial. Her name was Ariadne. Her job? Guiding him straight through the all-important class selection. She told our adventurer it was time. 3 basic classes to pick from, and this single choice? It would dictate his entire future. First up was the warrior class. Your classic, heavy-hitting, close-range brawler. Absolutely perfect if you live for those intense, adrenaline-fueled showdowns. John remembered maining this class in his past life. Sure, he leveled up fast back then, but only because he had a team. Going solo now? A total nightmare. Next up, Ariadne showed him the priest class, your typical healer and buffer. But Jayhun shut that down immediately. He wasn't about to waste his precious time carrying other players. That left only one option. Ariadne granted Harkin his brand new blessing and warped him straight to the class tower. Waiting for him was an elder. This NPC introduced himself as Golko, the ultimate guide to the magical arts. Golko asked what kind of magic he wanted to pursue. No hesitation. Harkin looked him in the eye and demanded dark magic. The elder blinked, completely caught off guard. He actually tried to talk the kid out of it, but Harkin stood his ground. Seeing this, Golko dropped a heavy warning. Dark magic is insanely powerful, sure, but it literally devours your soul. John just smirked. He knew exactly what it cost. And honestly, that insane power was exactly why he wanted it. Seeing his unbreakable resolve, the elder's whole vibe shifted. Golko grinned, admitting it had been ages since someone actually chose this cursed path. He pulls out this terrifying dark tome. If Herc was truly ready for this madness, he just had to touch the skill book. But the elder gave one last warning. This road would absolutely break anyone with a weak heart. Boom. Harkin slams his hand right on the cover. Weak heart? Not his. He was ready to claim this power right now. The old wizard just lost it, laughing like a complete maniac. Finally, a player who wasn't totally boring. Pure dark energy rushed through John's veins. He remembered a legend from his past life, a necromancer who solo cleared an entire boss raid. And right here, right now, that godlike power was exactly what John needed. The ultimate necromancer class. With everything locked in, John wasted 0 time testing out his very first bone shard skill. Check this out. June can literally use enemy corpses to summon an undead army. The signature, broken ability of every necromancer. Time to grind. Jayhun set his sights on the closest dungeon for some quick leveling, but then he glanced at his new summon. Its head just randomly popped off. Yeah, this was going to be a lot harder than he thought. A bit later, John stepped into the training zone, completely stressing over how insanely fragile his little bone minion was. From what he remembered back in the day, skeletons were definitely not built out of glass like this. Checking the stats, Jayhun realized the problem. Skill proficiency was rock bottom. He desperately needed to grind some levels. Fast. Right on cue, a pack of wolves pulled up. Honestly, perfect timing. They weren't heavy hitters, but their speed was annoying. The absolute best test subjects for Jayhun's new build. So, he summons his skeleton buddy again. He points at the wolves and orders the attack. The minion stands up, strikes a surprisingly cool fighting pose, and stares them down. Jayhun gives the order to wipe them out. The skeletons sprinted straight at them. John smirked, thinking this crazy speed leveling plan might actually work out. But nope. Reality check. John watched his summon get absolutely pulverized in a split second. Utterly humiliating. The only thing left of his fierce undead warrior? A single skull rolling on the ground. Panic mode activated. Something was seriously broken here, so John scrambled to check the minion's status window. Rookie mistake. He totally forgot to set its combat mode. Jayhun quickly swapped the setting to pure defense. Round 2, still completely destroyed by the wolves. Desperate, Jun clicked on the special action mode, and instead of throwing hands, the skeleton literally started dancing with the wolves. John was losing his mind. This had to be a joke. Jayhun couldn't even re-roll his account now. He was totally out of time. Class locked in. Real-life debt knocking at his door. Just when he thought he caught a break, the universe completely humbled him. And to top it all off, he was stuck with the most useless summon in gaming history. Seriously, it made John question everything. How the hell did that legendary necromancer ever become overpowered with this trash class? Ping! A system alert flashed before his eyes. It showed a hidden option to actually boost his summon's fighting skills. Earlier, John had to step in and slaughter the wolves while his minion just watched. But suddenly, everything clicked. It wasn't being lazy. It was watching. Learning his exact combat style from the sidelines. That was the secret. Jay finally cracks the code on upgrading his skeleton's combat skills. He literally shoves a stick into its bony hands, playfully reminding his undead buddy how lucky it is. See, in his past life, Jay was an absolute genius. He used to train absolute beginners, forging them into top-tier guild rankers. Now, he looks at his skeleton. Remember one rule: don't dodge, and you die. Then, bam. Jay ruthlessly smacks his skeleton, repeating this brutal beatdown until the bony guy actually learns how to evade. Still, progress is agonizingly slow. Jay gets frustrated, barking angry orders at his undead companion. Stop tanking hits. Move out of the way first. Find that perfect opening, then strike back. After what feels like an endless, brutal training session, the skeleton gets thrown straight back into the wolf pack. But this time, the bonehead executes perfectly. Following Jay's exact orders, it ducks, weaves, and completely counters every attack with lethal accuracy. The skeleton absolutely solo clears the wolves. Jay sighs. The guy still has a massively long way to go. But yeah, the improvement is definitely there. And the best part? Jay's own stats surge forward. Thanks to his minion's combat upgrade, he officially levels up. A bit later, Jay strolls into the game's starting zone, Figus Castle. The place is completely packed with desperate guild recruiters, loudly begging for any fresh meat. Jay? He ignores every single one of them. He's totally laser-focused on his real goal, buffing his skeleton, which instantly skyrockets his own personal stats. But suddenly, someone gets right in his face. Some random warrior grabs Jay by the shirt, loudly demanding an apology for a simple bump. Jay rolls his eyes. He has absolutely zero time for this low-level bully nonsense today. Completely triggered by being ignored, the bully throws a punch. But before Jay even flinches, a massive guy steps in and blocks it. The stranger glares. You can't just swing at random people. The bully sneers. What, are you his boyfriend? No, the giant replies. But Jay instantly feels a crazy familiarity. It hits him like a truck. He knows this guy from his past life. Insane muscles, popping veins, and that completely ridiculous outfit. It's Shev the Slayer, a literal legend from Jay's previous timeline. But seriously, what is a massive powerhouse like Shev doing in a starting zone? The bully doesn't care. He completely loses it, furiously screaming at Shev to mind his own business. He claims Jay provoked the situation and definitely deserves a beating. An eye for an eye, right? Big mistake. Shev releases this absolutely terrifying aura, making the bully flinch like a total coward. Shev coldly points out that the bully's punch just hit his hand. So, by the guy's own logic, he needs to be punished for that. The bully's friend starts fully panicking, aggressively whispering about who they're actually messing with. Shev the Slayer runs the Red Bulls, a top 30 guild worldwide, and the guy absolutely lives for bloodshed. The terrified bully stammers, "Why is a top ranker here?" He tries to slowly back away, but Shev the Slayer smirks, casually asking if they are still fighting. That's it, the bully bolts, screaming desperate apologies. Shev just smiles warmly, claiming he's super glad everything worked out so peacefully. Turning around, Shev gives Jay a friendly nod, promising that those annoying punks won't ever bother him again. Jay's response? He just turns his back, coldly stating he never needed any help. Shev just stands there, totally stunned by the freezing attitude. I mean, the guy expected at least a thanks. Walking away, Jay admits something to himself. For just a split second, Shev's insane aura had him completely paralyzed, but he swears next time they cross paths, Jay will be the one looking down. Much later, deep inside a dark dungeon, he can't stop thinking about the massive power gap between them. Worse still, his ultimate enemy still matches Shev's exact level, meaning Jay has to reach that god-tier rank if he ever wants his bloody revenge. Suddenly, bam! A dungeon monster tries to ambush him out of nowhere, but his skeleton minion instantly steps up. See? Jay played the ultimate bait, purposely letting his undead warrior handle the trash. With the beast dead, the bonehead levels up. Still, Jay heavily sighs. It literally took this useless skeleton 3 whole days to hit level 10. Way too slow. But hey, Jay's own body evolved too. He finally unlocks the System Watch, an absolute game changer, packed with insanely good features. We're talking stat windows, active quests, mini-maps, infinite inventory, and direct messages. He rocked this exact gear before, and desperately missed having it. It just sucks that his past life overpowered stats are completely gone. Whatever. Time to assign those sweet, sweet stat points. And this choice? It completely dictates his future. Normally, a necromancer absolutely needs to max out magic or intelligence. But Jay? He wildly dumps every single point straight into strength. Boom. Raw power floods his veins. The physical upgrade is completely unreal, and his skeleton feels the massive boost too. Seeing his minion looking incredibly confused, Jay just smirks. Relax, buddy. I'm still totally playing the necromancer class. Look, I'm just doing this to train my summon properly. Honestly, pumping points into magic or intelligence right now is a total waste. But strength? Oh, that changes everything. It meant he could physically show this bony minion every single devastating combo he mastered back in his past life. John looks his summon dead in the eye sockets, saying his literal life is on the line here, so pay attention. As for the other stats, he's got workarounds. Cut to later, over at the Figus Castle Monster Hunting Association. Fresh quests just dropped, and pure chaos immediately breaks out in the guild. Everyone's practically throwing punches to grab a task, since they're super scarce right now. Our guy casually weaves through and checks the board. The receptionist sighs. Fine, but fair warning, only the absolute garbage tier jobs are left. We're talking brutal difficulty or zero payoff. John scans the list. Yeah, they're painfully boring. But beggars really can't be choosers here. Wait a second. One specific quest actually catches his eye. The Mount Bima Cave Run. Basically just pest control sweeping out low-level mobs in the dark. The host looks at him like he's crazy. You're seriously taking this trash payout? John just nods. Here's the secret. The money sucks. Sure, but if he clears this before hitting level 15, boom, he snags an ultra-rare title. Normally, titles just give flat stat boosts. But the Ascending Star? That bad boy scales by percentages, meaning this is his very first step to becoming absolutely overpowered. Knowing this, it's finally shopping time. Fast forward a bit. John hits Mount Bima, fully prepared to test out his brand new equipment, except he looks ridiculous. Like, aggressively ugly. He blew all his cash upgrading his skeleton ally, leaving himself stuck wearing this absolute fashion disaster. Whatever. Function over fashion, right? Once he clears this, he can finally buy something that doesn't burn the eyes. So he sprints off, wanting to get this over with at lightning speed. Meanwhile, nearby, someone's screaming for help, completely desperate. But nobody is coming. This guy got totally played. The ambushers are literally just hiding in the bushes, waiting for fresh meat. Enter Multi, a totally clueless newbie. Multi is hyped. He thinks he's a gaming prodigy, convinced he'll hit the top ranks in record time. Right in the middle of his daydream, he suddenly hears frantic cries. Someone sobbing that their buddy is dying. Multi rushes over, and the guy spins a sob story about a random monster ambush. We're totally out of potions. I can't save him alone. It's classic bait. Being the naive hero, Multi instantly pulls out his own potions to help. The guy starts crying tears of joy, thanking him endlessly. Hook, line, and sinker. The crying guy was just a decoy, while his partner sneaks up right behind our hero. And, just like that, bam! Another easy victim. The player killers just laugh in his face, thanking him for the free loot. Multi is totally stunned. Why would they do this? The bandit just smirks. Hey, don't blame us. You're the idiot who walked right into it. Then slash. Final blow. Multi gets completely wiped out, leaving behind his inventory watch packed with every single thing he owned. The gang celebrates another flawless heist. Meet the Ralph family. Notorious player killers, already scanning for their next target. Cut back to our protagonist. His skeleton is currently staring down some fresh prey. 2 forest wolves, to be exact. John doesn't hesitate. He flips the summon setting straight to attack mode. No blocking. No dodging. The bony minion just rushes in and absolutely slaughters them in seconds. Looking at the insane damage from that premium sword, John realizes his pet could easily solo an entire wolf pack without breaking a sweat. Totally worth being broke. He spent all his cash on his summons gear. Because real gamers know stats always beat cosmetics. The skeleton just stands there, practically begging for a head pad. But John's all business. They need to grind levels right now. No breaks. Time to hunt. The loyal minion follows closely as they push deeper into the woods. Then, thwack. An arrow flies out of nowhere, nailing the skeleton straight in the chest. John freezes. What the hell? Right on cue, a guy steps out, apologizing frantically. Yep, it's the Ralph family. They play dumb, claiming they shot from far away and thought it was just a random monster. Classic excuse. But John? He's no noob. One look at these guys, and he smells player killers immediately. His guard goes all the way up. On the outside, though, he plays it cool, totally unbothered. He shrugs it off, asking if they have a spare mana potion as an apology. The leader smirks, claiming they're out, but offers to help them grind instead the perfect trap. The bandit leader slapped on a fake apology, claiming they wanted redemption. Right on cue, monsters spawned in. The leader smirked. Perfect timing. Their supposed plan? Weaken the beasts and let Jayhun take the final hits for easy experience points. Total garbage. Obviously. These scavengers honestly believed they just scored the ultimate, gullible victim for their trap. Step 1. Pull the monster's attention. Step 2. Buff its attack power. Step 3. Dump the enraged beast straight onto our boy. They fully expected him to panic and die, doing their dirty work for them. But yeah, not happening. Jayhun and his skeleton buddy absolutely shred the beast. Not even breaking a sweat, he smiles. Thanks for the assist. Send more. That exact moment, the bandits finally realized they completely misjudged this guy's power level. In a panic, they trigger a massive wave of monsters. Their master plan? Wait until he's distracted and backstab him. But the second they make their move, Jayhun sidesteps the ambush like he read their minds. The attacker totally whiffs, and Jayhun's counter? Instant, brutal, and absolutely perfectly timed. One single, devastating strike later, that bandit was completely obliterated. Without missing a beat, Jayhun signals his skeleton minion. Weapons drawn, pure aggression. The duo charges straight into the terrified scavengers. Cue absolute panic mode. Suddenly, these tough guys are begging for a truce. Oh, Jayhun wasn't having it. He and his skeleton brutally tear through the remaining bandits. Zero hesitation whatsoever. He's seen this exact garbage player before. The absolute scum who fake being friendly, wait for you to drop your guard, then kill you for your loot. Maybe his past self would have fallen for that cheap trick. But now, he's practically a whole new person, the kind who trusts absolutely nobody. Jayhun finishes them off, noticing they had already hoarded 8 watches from other dead players. Well, dead men don't need inventory slots, so Jayhun happily sweeps up every single piece of loot. The guy needed a wardrobe upgrade anyway. Meanwhile, his skeleton is busy getting payback for that arrow from earlier. Jayhun watches the undead minion completely lose its mind, letting it blow off some steam. Once the dust settles, Jayhun patches up his skeletal buddy. The minion practically jumps for joy over the healing. Seeing the hype, Jayhun drops some advice. Don't sweat the visuals too much. Looks aren't everything in this crazy game. He gives this whole speech about inner beauty, which is hilarious, considering he's literally flexing his stolen, high-tier fashion. Plus, he had to admit those stolen player watches looked incredibly stylish. Here's the cool mechanic. Selling player watches basically triggers a massive randomized loot drop. We're talking high-stat weapons, crazy skill books, and gold. For Jayhun, it was basically hitting the jackpot using dead players' wallets. Even better, his leveling speed is completely broken. He's already planning to start streaming his epic boss fight soon. But right then, a dark memory from his past life suddenly hits him. He remembered talking with his old friend about building the mask guild together, named after an item drop. Staring at that same mask now, he realizes just how cold he's become. But honestly, he would never let anyone steal his life away ever again. This was only step 1. And his undead minion? The only companion he'd ever actually trust on this insane run. Fast forward a bit. The duo drops straight into the Mount Bima cave dungeon. Jayhun knows this zone well, absolute blue werewolf territory. It's a high-risk area, but with his overpowered new gear, pure easy mode. So he and the skeleton push deeper. 2 hours in. Complete silence. Not a single monster in sight. The dungeon wasn't cleared yet, the system hadn't pinged him, so why was this place a total ghost town? Then, glowing in the shadows, he saw it. He stepped closer to check it out. Boom. He just triggered a hidden portal to an instant dungeon. It all clicked. This secret rift had sucked up every single mob. These random anomaly zones spawn inside normal dungeons and stay locked until cleared. They are brutally difficult, but the loot drop? Absolutely god tier. Here's the terrifying catch. You go in, you either win, or you die. The logical gamer move here was to back away immediately. Getting killed triggered a brutal 2-day respawn penalty. Massive setback, but Jayhun wasn't playing it safe anymore. This was his second chance. Zero hesitation. All he had to do was survive the raid. Crossing that threshold, he entered a massive arena. The killing intent in the air was suffocating. What insane boss was waiting for him? He didn't have to wait long. A massive, towering werewolf materialized right in front of him. A deeply corrupted, nightmare-level boss. Level? Completely unreadable. Jayhun thought he'd seen it all, but his jaw literally dropped. Then the boss charged, kicking off an absolutely savage boss fight. Boom! John got launched backward from the sheer force. His skeletal ally braced for impact, but John? He just started laughing. Oh, we hit the jackpot. He grinned. A beast this terrifying? That practically screamed main quest territory. He glanced at his summon. Take this boss down, or no dinner for you. Then, John dashed straight at the monster, his loyal skeleton rushing right behind him. His ally angled its sword perfectly. John launched off the blade into a huge jump, dead center above the beast. Right then, he activated a demonic curse, completely wrapping his weapon in pure, shadowy energy. He had the raw damage to absolutely shred this thing. And slam. The attack connected flawlessly, leaving behind a nasty curse that drained the monster's stats. First time trying that trick, too. Not gonna lie, our boy was pretty hyped it worked so perfectly. The boss? Yeah, it was absolutely pissed. Roaring with pure rage, the beast lunged right at John's blind spot. Look, you don't one-shot a boss monster. John totally expected the massive wolf to get back up for round 2. Time for the secret weapon. He tapped his player watch, pulling his absolute best trump card straight from the inventory. Flash. Magical armor completely covered him, turning our guy into an absolute powerhouse. This slot feature, totally unique to the Warlord game. When triggered, the device pumped out raw energy, skyrocketing your base stats and literally transforming your physical form. The crazy part? The transformation is totally random for everyone. That's exactly why the community dubbed it Supreme Mode. Supreme Mode locked and loaded. John was hyped. The giant wolf bared its fangs and charged him again. Swipe. Miss. Claw. Miss. John danced around every single attack. But man, he had to admit this beast was insanely fast. One hit from those claws meant instant death. So he kept weaving like crazy. But John wasn't just stalling for time. He found a tiny opening and boom, counterattack. Plus, with Supreme Mode active, his damage output was absolutely off the charts. Watching the wolf's health bar drop, John just smirked. Okay, now this game is getting actually really fun. But whoa, the boss recovered way too fast. It snapped its jaws right at him. John barely sidestepped the raging beast. Hey buddy, John taunted the angry wolf. Did you seriously forget? It's a 2-on-1 fight, because his skeleton partner was totally ready. With the monster completely distracted by John, the summon went straight for the blind side. Let's show him what we practiced, John yelled. The poor wolf boss, absolutely clueless about the pain coming its way. Wham! In total sync, John and his summon blasted the monster together, a flawless cross attack. They sliced the beast from both sides. Game over. Standing over the fading boss, John totally admired his own epic skills. And the loot? Oh, it was beautiful. He smiled at the drops, knowing insane difficulty always means top-tier rewards. Right there in the pile was the Corrupted Tracker's necklace, an ultra-rare, mind-blowingly powerful piece of gear. Check this out, it was account-bound. Untradeable items like this always packed way more punch than normal equipment. But wait, it gets better. He just unlocked 3 brand new titles. The first one, Rising Star, made total sense. Hero Challenger was obvious too, since he solo cleared a dungeon. But that third title, Corrupted Tracker, now that changes everything. Every veteran player knew that name. It was the starting trigger for the legendary main quest, the Corrupted Count scenario. This quest line, it's basically the core lore of the entire Warlord game universe. Absolute must-play content. The massive payouts meant everyone fought for a spot. But get this, even in his previous life, John only reached Chapter 4. Unlocking it this early in his second playthrough? Absolute madness. Our guy was completely buzzing with excitement for the future. Fast forward to the real world. John sees huge news online. The massive Hydra Guild just entered the final stage of the Corrupted Count quest. Their leader bragged they'd beat it in 3 months. Reading that, reality hit John like a truck. He was way behind. These guys were at the finish line, while he was barely leaving the starting zone. The rewards would be totally gone. He actually thought about just giving up. Like, maybe just wait it out and prepare for the next big storyline instead. But wait, what if this was actually a golden ticket? The entire gaming world was currently hyped about Warlord's first massive quest coming to an end. John realized something genius. If he dropped his own Corrupted Count footage right now, the algorithm would explode. Hello? Massive payday. Thank God he recorded the whole boss fight. He needed it uploaded yesterday. But raw footage is boring. The real magic is in the editing. For a viral hit, he needed the absolute best. He contacted the one legendary editor from his previous life, the editing god known as Romani. They didn't know each other yet in this timeline. Getting the message, Romani rolled her eyes. Why would a weak level 15 player need her pro-level editing skills? But then she clicked the video. Her jaw physically dropped. This footage was absolutely insane. She instantly knew she had just struck pure gold. Just a bit later, a serious corporate boss called her team in. A brand new corrupted count video had just hit the internet. But what really hooked her? The actual footage. A mere level 15 player soloing a corrupted werewolf. Insane. Her assistant brushes it off, claiming the review team saw absolutely zero value in it. But the director? Oh, she's completely fascinated. She orders them to recruit this guy immediately. Meet Seolian Che, heiress to South Korea's massive Thunder Corporation. And, more importantly, our protagonist's absolute worst enemy from his past life. In the game, she's literally Sil, the Thunder Queen. Cut back to John, who practically drops his phone in shock. That clip he uploaded just yesterday? The view count is already skyrocketing to absolutely ridiculous numbers. He remembers grinding for years in his previous life just to get a fraction of this. Now, his rise is lightning fast. Even his editor, Romani, acts totally different. She's actually talking to him, a massive change from the super quiet girl he knew before. She never initiated conversations. But post-video, she's completely obsessed with his progress. And honestly, she's blowing up his phone way too much. It's getting a bit ridiculous. John is literally one tap away from blocking her. She just desperately wants to know when that next upload is dropping. Only one problem. He has absolutely no idea what to film. Tracking down another rare boss like that werewolf? Nearly impossible. So he dives straight back into the game, praying for some fresh inspiration to hit. Meanwhile, another player named Chev is completely hypnotized by the upload. No matter how many times he loops it, John's flawless combat mechanics blow his mind. Plus, he's got this weird gut feeling. He knows this guy. He just can't figure out from where. Suddenly, Yell, a guildmate from the Red Bulls, interrupts his hyper-focus, asking who he's obsessed with. Chev immediately names John's avatar currently the most hyped player online. She laughs, joking that rewatching it so much is frying his brain. But Chev seriously can't look away. The raw mechanics in this fight? It's pure art. He honestly wonders what fighting him one-on-one would actually feel like. Yell totally shuts him down, telling him to focus up because they have a massive live stream right now. Chev, being Chev, uses this exact moment to flirt with her. She rolls her eyes and tells him to move. 200,000 viewers are currently waiting, and they came here to watch Chev dominate. Because yeah, he's Chev the Slayer, Red Bull's Guildmaster, and the number 9 player globally. A massive dungeon portal tears open right in front of them. The squad is prepped. Chev yells for his team to lock in. Meanwhile, back with our boy John, he hit up the Adventurer Guild. But the available quests? Total garbage. He kind of figured, but still hoped for something epic. Looks like the next upload is getting delayed. But just as he's about to leave, the desk clerk suddenly recognizes him from the mountain cave run. The NPC, a guy named Hotan, asks for a quick chat. Hotan somehow knows our protagonist faced a mutant down there. John plays it cool, claiming it was just some weird-looking wolf with glowing eyes. But Hotan gets super serious. He explains that the specific beast he killed was highly likely infected by this dangerous, corrupted energy. He doesn't know what caused this corruption, but any creature touching that aura goes completely berserk, causing massive casualties. Which is exactly why the association just put a massive bounty on the source. John instantly calls dibs on the quest. Hotan? He basically tells him he's way too weak, but our guy pushes back hard. Seeing his determination, Hotan finally yields. He points him toward Bangsu Castle to find a guy named Ahimri. Better yet, he hands over a personalized recommendation letter, forcing Ahimri to basically become John's personal mentor. Snagging that piece of paper, John internally screams with joy. This is jackpot material. A completely unique questline plus an elite master? That's going to make a legendary video upload, because Ahimri is one of the Grand Master's 7 elite students. Literally every magic user begs to meet this guy, because he drops ridiculously rare skill books. We're talking about a top-tier, meta-defining character here. Content drought over. The next broadcast is going to break the internet. But wait, he almost forgot a major upgrade. He dips into the woods and instantly calls out his undead minion. He still hadn't processed his loot from that boss fight. Time to fuse that corrupted werewolf skull directly into his skeleton warrior for a massive boost. Boom! Dark energy flares as the summon devours the skull, leveling up its stats instantly. Next up, slipping on that corrupted tracker necklace. The stat buffs hit him immediately. And just like that, our boy is fully locked and loaded. But wait, there's more. He casually drops 2 extra skulls on the dirt, raising a pair of fresh skeletal backup dancers for the journey. His first skeleton, caught completely off guard by this sudden expansion. But Jayhun was hyped. He declared they were a squad now, and couldn't wait to see their combined strength totally dominate. Well, that didn't take long. A massive forest bear spots them and instantly goes for the kill. Our boy dodges the first hit, but this thing is relentless. Waiting for his perfect opening, he signals a skeleton to pull aggro. The skeleton charges in blindly. Bad move. The bear is way smarter, grabbing the bony guy and completely launching him across the forest. Too predictable, Jayhun yells. You can't just run straight at it, you gotta hit the blind spot. So, he immediately sends skeleton number 2 to get the job done. It moves in for the strike. But guess what? Smacked away. Countered exactly like the first one. He is absolutely losing it now. Are you kidding me? You just did the exact same thing. But wait, through the chaos, his original skeleton steps up, his veteran. Finally, some real hope ignites for him. The OG charges in, sword ready for a fatal strike, and gets totally flattened, just like the rest of them. At this point, our protagonist is literally pulling his hair out. Complete disaster. After the beating, he lines up his squad. Right, you guys literally have no brains, just empty skulls. He explains basic gaming logic. Monsters track incoming attacks, so you have to hit them from behind, instead of rushing straight head on. Yeah, he's giving a masterclass to literal boneheads. It's totally not clicking. His frustration is peaking right now. Look, having 3 active summons at once? That part is awesome, but the reality? Zero teamwork. They're literally just copying each other's completely useless movements. No synergy, no combo attacks, nothing. Plus, maintaining 3 of them is draining his mana pool like absolute crazy. He hit level 20 like he wanted, but yeah, his plan to record awesome gameplay videos? Officially, on hold. First things first. He desperately needs to train these guys before the Bangu Castle mission. He really thought he could just kick back while his summons did the heavy work. Huge reality check right there. So much for playing the lazy backline. He's gonna have to carry hard. Meanwhile, over at the Bangu Castle Branch Association, the lobby is packed. Suddenly, a player walks in, and the entire room goes absolutely wild with insane frenzy. They corner him, demanding quest details, straight up threatening the poor guy for inside information. Jayhun watches this mess unfold. Honestly, they look like a pack of starving hyenas. Classic gamer behavior. Zero effort to grind, just acting like absolute parasites leeching off the actual top players. An NPC host tries to say hello, but our boy brushes right past him, keeping things entirely secret. He walks straight to the main official and proudly flashes his glowing recommendation letter. The VIP pass works flawlessly. A few randoms try to party up with him, but he immediately rejects them all. Walking inside, he's practically drooling over the potential loot. But his real target? Securing a connection with the great wizard Ahimri. He pushes the door open. And wow. The legendary wizard's room looks like a literal tornado hit it. The grumpy wizard glares at him. I don't have any appointments. Who the hell are you? The name is Herkon. Our protagonist replies smoothly, handing over his official recommendation ticket. Ahimri scans him. A complete rookie. But you don't get a letter like that without serious skill. Shrugging it off, the wizard hands over the goods. And oh man, Jayhun is buzzing. 2 ultra-rare books. Then Ahimri just waves him off. We're done here. Have a safe trip back. Wait, what? It ended that fast? That's it? He thought this would unlock a massive quest chain. You don't just hand out epic loot and say goodbye. Panic mode activated. He basically throws himself at the wizard, begging for a chance. I'll do literally anything. Ahimri pauses. Anything? Are you serious? A devious smirk forms. Oh, he definitely has a task. The mission? Steal an egg directly from a terrifying monster's nest. The catch? Absolutely zero rewards. Our boy is completely stunned. Cut to outside. A new player approaches, decked out in insanely expensive gear. Every single head turns. He strides in, smirking. So, this is where Haho Mask is, huh? Meanwhile, Jayhun is still inside, cursing his terrible luck. A garbage fetch quest with no payout? This is an absolute joke. He's seriously debating if he should just abandon it. But before he can decide, another player walks right up. Word instantly gets out that he scored a hidden quest. And just like that, the hungry mob swarms him. John totally forgot about these vultures. And now, he is completely trapped, with absolutely zero way out of this surging crowd. But right in the middle of the chaos, someone steps up. It is that mysterious warrior from earlier, shoving his way through the mob and demanding everyone clear out. He looks at John, asks for a quick private chat. John is instantly annoyed like, who even is this guy? Not interested. John shuts him down immediately, but then, the warrior drops a name. Mr. Ha-Ho Mask. And suddenly, he is asking for cooperation. Yeah, that got his attention. The two step away from the noise to talk. The warrior actually apologizes for being so aggressive. He claims it was an absolute emergency, and there was no way they could talk with all those ears around. Looking at his insane gear, John realizes immediately this dude is a top-tier ranker. No clue who he is, though. The real question? How does this guy know his secret identity? Time to play it cool. Guard up. John plays dumb, asking straight up why he just called him Ha-Ho Mask. The warrior smirks. He knows exactly who John is. And get this, he knows all about the quest John just got from the wizard. No more games. John cuts straight to the chase. Who are you? And what do you want? He makes it crystal clear he is not here to waste time throwing hands. Dead silence. The mysterious player just stares. Then, completely backs down. Says he made a huge mistake and apologizes. John keeps up the clueless act and nods. He walks away, throwing a casual comment about putting this whole weird misunderstanding in the past. But the absolute second John is out of earshot, another player steps out of hiding. The warrior sighs, admitting they might have just tracked down the completely wrong guy. His reasoning? Only a total newbie leaves their smartwatch completely exposed like that. The second player chimes in, noting the corrupted count quest is basically wrapping up, meaning, staking out that wizard non-player character is officially a complete waste of time. But the warrior with glasses is not having it. The nest egg quest is their main priority, and they literally cannot afford a single mistake right now. Everyone falls back to their positions. But here's the thing. From a distance, John is watching everything. He knew that warrior had backup. Our boy connects the dots instantly. These guys? Definitely part of an organized guild, but normally, guilds offer deals. These guys did not. They tried to corner him instead. This is not your average, run-of-the-mill group. The part that really gets under his skin? Having zero clue who he is dealing with. But one thing is absolutely guaranteed. This egg quest? Way bigger than a basic fetch mission. These players definitely watched his viral video and tracked him down because of it. And since they let him walk away so fast, they do not care about his Ha-Ho Mask identity. They are completely obsessed with the actual Ahim request. John is flying blind here. All he knows? Keep a low profile. Zero attention until this mission is locked and done. Oh, he is so done. More absolute lunatics, showing up to ruin his run. Seriously, dealing with past enemies like Chiolon was already a massive headache. Speaking of the devil, cut to Chiolon. Her secretary, Park Suji, walks up offering a bottle of water. Suji asks how the big guild entrance exam went. Chiolon just scoffs. Total waste of time. Complete garbage tier candidates. Then, she demands an update on Ha-Ho Mask. Suji looks nervous, admitting John has not responded to a single message. He probably joined a rival guild by now. Chiolon snaps, furious. Is she absolutely sure about that? Suji shrinks back, admitting she is just guessing. Bad move. Her boss barks orders to dig deeper and not come back without cold, hard facts. Just as Suji turns to leave, Chiolon asks about the chairman. The secretary shakes her head. Dead silence from the top boss. Chiolon smirks. No news is good news. That silence means their warlord operation is absolutely crushing it. Crazy, right? She actually remembers when she first mentioned playing this game. The chairman literally tried to force her into an arranged marriage. Pushing that aside, Chiolon fires off more orders. Find fresh recruits. Get a full report ready. Tomorrow, no excuses. Suji panics that deadline is completely insane. But her boss literally just walks away, leaving the poor secretary talking to the wall. All right, back to our boy John. Change of scenery. It has been a hot minute since he set foot in the lizard swamp. Based on the map, the mission target should be pretty close to the wizard castle. He needs to steal an egg, right? So naturally, it probably belongs to some massive, terrifying monster native to this very swamp. The mobs in this zone? Absolute top tier. So John decides to test out that crazy skill enhancement he grabbed earlier. Just draw the magic mark, hit the right spell, and watch the magic happen. Boom. He slaps the Helm of Madness right onto his undead summon. The effects kick in instantly. Dark aura, power surging. John is actually impressed. To test its limits, he gives a wild order. Attack me. But he completely forgot one tiny detail. The helm has a side effect. It literally strips away the wearer's sanity. So the skeleton hears the order, Zero hesitation. It straight up lunges at its own master with killing intent. Oh crap. John realizes instantly he messed up bad. Reflexes kick in. He dodges and counters, smashing his own summon into the dirt. Disaster avoided. He pins the thrashing skeleton down and scolds it. Do not ever screech at your master like that again. He stands there, heart pounding, trying to process this chaos. Was that a glitch? A hidden feature? Either way, things just got incredibly complicated. The noise echoed, and bam! Swamp lizards swarmed in, fully ready to slaughter the trespassers. John just smirked. Perfect timing for some test subjects, he called out, instantly triggering his Helm of Madness and throwing on that sick bone armor. Just like that, his 3 skeleton summons leveled up their power completely. The lizards hissed, bracing themselves, and John ordered his undead crew to strike. Total chaos instantly broke out, and honestly, it barely took a second for his bone brigade to dominate the fight. They absolutely crushed those lizards. Seriously, 0 survivors left standing. Our boy John was hyped, finally getting some rock-solid performance from his squad. He figured, why not hunt down some serious monsters while still tracking that egg? The rush was totally over. He just wanted to grind and evolve his stats to the absolute max. But get this, someone was creeping on him from the shadows. Enter Ilya, a girl who was convinced she was God's greatest gift to the server. In her mind, everyone worshipped the ground she walked on. Honestly, life on easy mode, 1 fake tear, and an army of simps would come running. But karma hit fast when she totally wiped out, face planting straight into the muddy swamp water. Spitting mud, she screamed about hating this map. She only came down here because one of her fanboys promised to power level her account. But spoiler alert, he got killed, leaving her completely stranded and absolutely useless. These mobs were way above her pay grade. So the second she saw John wiping out enemies, ding, she immediately locked onto him as her brand new carry. Dusting herself off, she practically crawled over to John, putting on the waterworks. The scary monsters hurt my legs, she cried. I literally cannot take another step forward. Classic damsel in distress act. She was 100% sure this gamer guy would instantly fall for her trap and escort her out safely. But wait for it. John literally just turned around and kept walking, completely ignoring her. Left her sitting in the dirt, absolutely speechless. Rejection? That wasn't in her dictionary. She yelled for him to wait, but John gave 0 cares. Man, she was seeing absolute red right now. Cut back to John. He tried getting back to the grind, but the distraction was real. He could feel her stalking him. He initially tuned her out to save precious time, but this girl was sticking to him like pure glue. In John's eyes, if you boot up a hardcore game, you should probably learn the basic mechanics first. Tired of the constant shadowing, he finally spun around to confront the problem straight up. What's your deal? He snapped. Putting on that innocent act, she lied about dropping her rare sword, begging for his help. John laid out the terms. I grab your gear, and you permanently get lost. She nodded eagerly, tossing him a super sweet thank you. But inside? Oh, she was laughing, totally convinced she had another helpless player wrapped around her finger. Fast forward. They actually spot the weapon sinking in the bog. John reminded her of the deal. He fetches the loot, and she takes a hike immediately after. He instantly signaled his undead summons to grab it. The 3 skeletons waded straight into the murky waters, pushing forward to secure the blade. Watching them leave, Ilya practically jumped for joy. Perfect bait. Everyone knows a summoner is squishy without their pets, right? With his guards busy, this guy was just a sitting duck waiting to be dropped. Time for payback. She pulled her dagger, lunging right at John's blind spot. But John barely even looked. He sidestepped her pathetic sneak attack instantly, mocking her trash speed, before physically chucking her through the air. Splat! She belly flopped hard into the murky stream. Dripping wet, she absolutely lost her mind, screaming that her high-level simps were going to hunt him for this. John just sighed, telling her to shut her mouth and take a good look right behind her. She froze, thinking it was a bluff. She turned only to realize she sat dead center in a mutant nest. While she thrashed around panicking, John just watched coldly, letting her know she really picked the wrong guy to backstab today. Because, honestly, he read her cheap little scam from mile 1. He'd survived way too many betrayals to fall for something this basic. Plus, this entire dramatic side quest was totally ruining his leveling schedule. Looking at his summons, they were just goofing off. He immediately snapped at them, demanding they practice combat instead of weird habits. And right on cue, ding, system notification popped up. Player Ilya eliminated. He actually banked player kill points for that. Pretty wild, considering he technically just used the environment to drop her. Beyond that, John was dead certain she was completely faking that whole bodyguard threat anyway. But plot twist. Her stream chat saw the whole savage takedown live, and the simps were absolutely furious. Within minutes, the swamp turned into an absolute war zone. Some white knight charged in, practically crying for vengeance. But yeah, his epic revenge arc got shut down immediately. John literally stared at the kid, completely baffled. Why throw his life away for absolute zero reward? Hitting him with a harsh truth that streamer girl wouldn't even drop a thank you, much less look at him in real life. Seriously, you shouldn't get attached to a girl like that. But the kid? He just laughed right in his face. I love her. I'd die for her, he screamed. June absolutely had it with this toxic energy and just straight up ended him. Remembering her little trap from earlier? Yeah, she definitely plays this toxic game all the time. Does June regret taking her down? Not even a little. But he definitely underestimated her crazy personal army of bodyguards, meaning way more of these obsessed white knights are bound to hunt him down. That girl really knew how to totally brainwash her flock, having them totally wrapped around her finger. Which perfectly explains why all these literal lunatics keep showing up to fight him. Our boy was already bored out of his mind with 0 quests. And now, a whole new wave of annoying obstacles drops in. Honestly, he'd love to hunt her down and wreck her all over again. But time is ticking, and he really needs to stay low-key. But wait, looting time. He snatches up the dropped gear from his victims, and holy crap, this last guy was carrying some insanely high-tier loot. He's honestly pretty thankful these clueless fanboys attacked him. Why? Because selling all their shiny gear is gonna make him filthy rich. Right on cue, yet another raging fanboy steps up for a fight. This time, he proudly admits he's the exact guy who crushed their precious queen. But then, an absolutely massive army of them steps out from the shadows. Yeah, fighting them all is suicide time to run. We're talking an insane number of players here. He literally lost count. It's honestly completely pathetic how many guys want to die for her. So instead of just sprinting away, he summons his undead skeleton squad. Bad news though. These guys actually did their homework and brought the perfect counters for his undead minions. One look at their crazy high levels? Total mismatch. He instantly knows his current undead lineup absolutely cannot wipe out a squad this strong. So, tactical retreat it is. He dips out, silently promising to hunt every single one of them down once he levels up. After sprinting like crazy through that nasty swamp, he finally stops to catch a quick breath. Shaking off that massive army was absolutely brutal, but dropping his guard right now? Definitely not an option. Just one tiny problem. He is completely lost. This specific area? It feels entirely different from the rest of the murky swamp. This weird zone isn't on his map at all. But after scanning his surroundings, the puzzle pieces finally click into place. Meanwhile, that brainwashed mob is still hunting him, until suddenly, they spot his undead skeletons literally dancing in the swamp mud. The group is completely confused. But then, pure anger. They think he's absolutely making fools out of them. So one hothead recklessly charges right at the skeletons. Big mistake. He crashes straight into a massive, terrifying boss monster. Panic sets in instantly. Before the guy can even blink, the massive beast snatches him right up. The rest of the squad? Completely frozen, watching this absolute nightmare unfold. Pure horror hits them. They just realize this nightmare is the freaking dragon lizard, the supreme boss of the swamp. While they freeze in terror, our boy stays completely hidden, happily watching the show. He already knew this was the beast's nest. And this boss? We're talking completely broken stats, insane defense, massive health pool, and devastating damage. Normally, you'd need a perfectly coordinated 30-man raid team to even survive. But here's the crazy part: he heard this boss was already cleared, meaning this massive threat shouldn't even exist right now. Unless someone with a super specific quest walks right into its respawn zone. Bingo. If the big guy is back, this absolutely has to be the exact location for that crazy quest he got from the wizard. The goal is simple. Just slaughter this impossible beast and hand-deliver its egg to the mage. What makes 0 sense is getting a late-game mission this early. Honestly, he is absolutely fuming at that wizard for throwing him a suicide mission way above his current tier. But luckily, that brainwashed fan club is already battling the massive beast. Talk about the perfect meat shields. But just as he's celebrating, one guy totally panics, screaming for a full retreat because the boss is way too strong. Not on his watch. Our boy casually summons one of his elite undead to completely block their only way out. Trapped like rats. Now they only have one miserable option left. Fight the giant lizard to the death, or get completely wiped out. And trust me, this supreme boss isn't going down without an absolute bloodbath. While they're dying, he happily slips away, thanking those glorious human shields for the ultimate distraction. Because fighting that nightmare directly? Yeah, hard pass. After all, his only true mission is smuggling that ultra-rare egg back to the mage, so he sneaks straight into the creature's nest. But wait, it's totally empty. Panic mode activates, and he tears the place apart until something weird catches his eye. He looks closer. This weird object doesn't even resemble an egg, it's literally just a raw ping. The system alerts him his elite skeleton just got wiped out. Oh no. That means the boss is coming home, and his timer just hit 0. Absolutely furious, the beast charges straight back to its den, desperately hunting for its treasure. He scrambles for cover immediately. With that terrifying monster back in the room, searching the nest is completely off the table. So John bolts. Just grabs what he can and runs. He's really hoping this is the exact item that Wizard wanted. Back at the battle zone, total massacre. Those annoying players got absolutely wiped. Jayhun just finds pure wreckage left behind. He laughs a bit. Warlord is wild. Give players absolute freedom, and you get absolute lunatics running wild everywhere. Our boy scoops up all that sweet dropped loot. Then, he turns around to drop a warning. Crystal clear, no room for misunderstanding. He admits he's been playing nice, going easy on them. But unlike these scrubs, Jayhun takes this game absolutely seriously. The message is simple. Cross him again, you're not getting mercy. He guarantees the next encounter is gonna be a total bloodbath. That goes for that crazy woman's followers or literally anyone else. Warning delivered. And just like that, John casually walks away. He puts some serious distance behind him. Safe, at last. But deep down, John makes a vow. If those losers ignore his warning and track him down, it is absolute, total war. No holding back. Time to cool off and grind some cash. Plus, he snagged some insanely rare drops back in the swamp. Things are looking up. Fast forward. Jayhun meets Wizard Ahimri. Time to hand over that dragon lizard drop. He straight up tells the NPC it was a total nightmare to get. He better accept it. Because John is never stepping foot in that map again. Ahimri inspects the loot. Boom. It's exactly what he wanted. Jayhun practically celebrates. Mission accomplished. Right? He brought the exact right thing. The mage is actually blown away. Praises him for finishing with impossible speed. Jayhun just shrugs it off. He worked hard, sure, but what's next? Next quest, please. But Ahimri pauses. He asks our guy directly, do you even know what this mysterious drop really is? Lore drop time. The mage explains his crew originally found this artifact while scouting out the mutant monster territory. He calls it the Stone of Corruption. Click. Everything suddenly makes sense to John. No wonder those creepy players were hunting him so hard earlier. An item this insane? It is absolutely tied to the main quest. Those other guys were desperate to monopolize it. If anyone else grabbed the stone, their own game progression would be completely ruined. John originally thought he got scammed into a trash quest. But now, his whole perspective just completely flipped around. Ahimri comes clean. He knew the mission was brutal. He just needed to test the willpower of his future disciple. Test passed. Ahimri asks straight up, are you ready to battle the corruption? John is absolutely hyped. Rejecting this golden ticket? Not a chance. Plot twist. Mage Ahimri shuts him down. You aren't ready yet, John. Missions this brutal aren't for rookies. Reality check. John instantly gets it. His current level is simply too low to progress. But get this, Ahimri will still take him as a student, only if Herkin John's character name asks politely. So annoying. Minutes later, Jayhun storms right out of the mage's room, absolutely fuming and completely annoyed. That NPC's arrogant attitude? Insufferable. John seriously thinks Ahimri is just a massive scammer. Anyway, time jumps forward. That massive dragon lizard boss, finally dead. A super heavy-hitting team of high-tier players finally took it down. Fight over. The guild captain regroups with his squad, panting hard, trying to recover. He approaches his ally. You are way stronger than I expected, partner. The captain smiles, thanking the helper for his absolute clutch assistance during that brutal boss fight. Wait, look closely. This helper is the exact guy who tried hunting John earlier, now smurfing among low-level players. We literally couldn't have cleared this without you, the captain admits. He's super grateful the guy took the mercenary job for some basic gold. He tries handing over a fat stack of gold coins, but the helper swats it away, says that wasn't the deal, and he refuses to break their original contract rules. Mind blown, the captain is speechless. High-level helpers always take the cash, but this mercenary is operating completely differently. Plus, let's be real, this helper is a high-level ranker, doing a scrub-tier mission way beneath his skills. The captain is super suspicious now, but he honors the deal. The helper can loot whatever is inside the boss nest, even though, honestly, it's probably empty. This player didn't care. He only wanted that glorious corruption stone. That's the whole reason he accepted this boring job. He heard the boss respawn and was absolutely terrified that Heiho Mask would kill it first. He had to beat him there. Since that didn't happen, perfect. He was completely convinced that corruption stone was still inside the nest. Soloing a boss isn't a joke, even for a ranker. But he put in the work. He was absolutely positive his epic reward was finally his. He checks the nest. Empty. The helper absolutely explodes with pure, unadulterated rage. Somebody stole the stone. Meanwhile, back in the real world, John logs out, feeling like his entire life is finally about to turn around. Look, getting revenge is great. But John's other massive goal on this journey? He just desperately wanted to enjoy some seriously good food for once. And tonight, it's feast time. Jayhun used to save every single penny just in case. But since he officially secured the main quest with the wizard, he figures his financial nightmares are finally dead and gone. Jayhun also read up on, he just bagged a mountain of loot from those defeated players. Honestly, he totally deserved a massive reward after surviving that crazy mission. John checked his bank balance, dreaming of a sizzling steak. But reality check? After paying off his debts, he had barely 1,001 left. That wasn't even enough for cheap instant noodles. Jayhun seriously wondered why he was still dead broke after grinding so incredibly hard. Just as total despair kicked in, his phone buzzed. A message from Royni. She wanted to know when he'd actually get back to making videos. Oh, crap. He realized he hadn't spoken to his editor in ages, completely forgetting to update her on all the absolute madness lately. See, John had stopped recording to lay low. Too many eyes watching him. He really needed to stay out of the spotlight. But then, it hit him. Why should he starve just because some creepy players were stalking him? Honestly, he couldn't care less about those guys anymore. Hiding wasn't paying the bills. Time to stop running and just do what he had to do. And just like that, Jayhun logged back in. He geared up, completely ready to tackle the absolute nightmare known as the Forest of the Dead. Stepping into the zone, June shivered. This place? Always unbelievably creepy, no matter what. But hey, it was the absolute best spot for rapid leveling, and that terrifying aesthetic, pure clickbait gold, for his next video. Let's move. John rallied his undead squad. Time to hunt. He even introduced a brand new skeleton to the party, announcing that magic was their new meta, so they all better play nice together. Thanks to a skill he picked up from Himri, he could finally summon skeleton mages. The higher Jayhun's level, the stronger these summons would get. It's an absolutely overpowered skill, but there's a massive catch. That skeleton mage eats up crazy amounts of mana. Whatever. June prepped for battle and pointed out their targets, wild enemy skeletons. But these guys? Way tougher than his own summons. Jun totally needed his squad to actually work as a team here. Seeing his undead crew literally hesitating, June barked out an order. Stop standing around looking useless, and get into the fight. He reminded them that undead mobs play by completely different rules, so backing down wasn't an option. Did that pep talk work? Not even a little bit. John groaned. They had zero time to waste here. The slaughter needed to start immediately. Finally, one of Jayhun's skeletons rushed in and smacked an enemy hard. But guess what? That wild skeleton barely even flinched. See? This is exactly what I meant, Jayhun shouted. Basic attacks are completely useless here. Guys, we need a major strategy change right now. He snatched a heavy hammer straight from his inventory and totally obliterated a few enemy skeletons just to prove his point. You just gotta smash their skulls in, Jayhun commanded. Sounds easy, right? Well, his skeletons were still shaking in their boots. Listen up. John laid down the law. Their mission was to wipe out 100 skeletons in exactly 100 minutes. That meant one kill every 60 seconds. Fail, and I'm leaving you guys behind. That threat worked like magic. Pure panic set in, and his skeletons instantly charged forward. Nobody wants to get dumped by their summoner. Fast forward a bit, and the squad was absolutely wrecking everything. Jayhun, smirking like a proud dad. Honestly, his undead crew adapted to those heavy hammers way quicker than he'd predicted. Oh yeah, the next video is gonna completely blow up. He grinned. But that celebration cut short. A massive, towering skeleton suddenly dropped right in front of John. A skeleton warrior, a crazy rare random spawn. But did Jayhun care about the danger? Nope, he just saw walking, talking loot. More importantly, walking, talking stake money. So, Jan rushed in with his squad. But spacing out about food was a huge mistake. The monster lashed out and almost perfectly took his head off. Jian barely dodged out of the way. 1 inch closer, completely crushed. Thank God he'd crippled the monster's arm earlier. Now, John just had to smash the absolute crap out of the rest of its body. Jayhun launched a flawlessly perfectly timed combo with his undead crew, looking back to shout, "Everyone's still alive," but the monster wasn't done. It rose up, aiming a sneak attack right at John's back. John just smirked. "You're seriously forgetting something, right? One of my guys hasn't even taken a turn yet." Right on cue, his skeleton mage chanted, unleashing a massive, blazing fireball that completely vaporized the giant monster. John was already practically drooling over the absolutely insane view count this fight would get. Oh, and that juicy dream steak was finally within reach. But suddenly, the system blared a terrifying, ear-piercing warning. The map boss had finally awakened, demanding total vengeance for its fallen soldier. Instantly, a massive portal ripped open right in front of June. An absolute nightmare burst from the shadows. But did Jayhun panic? Nope. His eyes lit up like crazy. He totally recognized that monster. The Golden Skeleton, the ultimate boss of this zone. A legendary mage-class nightmare famous for absolutely obliterating unsuspecting rookies. John honestly never planned to fight this huge boss today. Beating this thing? Yeah, he wasn't exactly confident. But pulling off a win would mean the most epic video ever. Time to buff his undead squad and go wild. Except, he looked back, realizing he was totally alone. His mana was completely drained, causing every single summon to literally vanish. Pure panic hit hard. Now, John had to face this ultimate boss totally solo, keeping 4 summons out, especially that mage, had completely chewed through his mana bar, so 0 mana, no squad. Looks like he's going completely hand-to-hand combat right now. Watch activated, armor locked and loaded. Our guy is absolutely ready to throw down. Backing down? Not in his vocabulary. Especially when the ultimate prize is on the line, a perfectly cooked steak. Priorities, right? Seeing Jayhun push forward, the boss completely loses it, unleashing an absolute storm of magic. 1 hit. That's all it would take to end him. They don't call this monster the rookie killer for nothing. Letting this guy spam spells? Yeah, that's a one-way ticket to a game over. So, the plan is simple, shut down that magic completely. Jayhun goes on the offensive. But get this, he doesn't aim for the body. He smashes straight into the monster's magic circle. He figured it out. Those hands are the literal spell triggers. Break the hands. Break the magic. Honestly, pretty brilliant strategy. Oh, the boss was pissed. System warnings start screaming in Jayhun's ear. This isn't just about fighting anymore, it's personal. Pure, unadulterated bloodlust. It wants to absolutely crush whoever caused that damage. Our boy is standing there, sweating, thinking, wait, what did I just trigger? No time to think. The enraged monster instantly unleashes a terrifying, non-stop wave of destruction. Run, just run. But Jayhun can literally feel the strike closing in on him. Boom. The attack completely craters the ground. He trips, tumbling hard, back against the wall. Nowhere left to run. Here's the terrifying part, he doesn't recognize this attack pattern at all. Is his memory failing? Or does this golden skeleton have hidden phases? Honestly though, figuring that out won't save his life right now. And his skeleton summons? Still on cooldown. No backup. 0 intel. Jayhun is seriously wondering how the hell he survives this. Doubt creeps in, but sitting still means death. He has to strike back. He charges straight in. His plan? Just read the attack paths and dodge. Only one massive problem, there is literally 0 opening to hit back. No blind spots anywhere. Landing a solid hit feels absolutely impossible right now. A split second of hesitation and bam, the boss catches him perfectly. And it gets worse. This giant skull is literally trying to eat him alive. Talk about a nightmare scenario. But hey, our boy always keeps a hidden card. He hits the monster with a demonic curse, instantly dropping its stats by 13%. Stunned, the boss drops him, and Jayhun immediately capitalizes. That was the golden opening. He even sarcastically thanks the monster for the generous drop. 0 hesitation. He swings his massive hammer with everything he's got. The boss, completely defenseless against that brutal, direct impact. And just like that, game over. The system chimes in, confirming another epic victory. Even better, the sweet sound of leveling up. Jayhun literally sighs in relief, thank God that insane gamble actually worked out. Status window pops open, level 36 secured. But reality hits him. Fighting by the skin of his teeth every time? Way too risky. He's felt the absolute terror of running completely empty on mana mid-fight. Yeah, he is never letting that happen again. He survived so far, sure, but luck eventually runs out. Pumping all his resources into his skeleton crew isn't enough without them. He's a sitting duck. But here is the catch. Our guy knows he's completely maxed out every single mana title he can get at this stage, leaving his evolution paths looking totally blocked. Add a completely empty wallet for gear upgrades into the mix, and his options are looking seriously limited right now. But for now, Jayhun ships the raw combat footage over to his editor for a hype montage, setting his sights straight on level 40. Meanwhile, his editor Romani instantly dives into those files. Watching Hurricane's insane combat footage though, Romani literally calls him a madman. The risks he took were absolutely terrifying. Think about it. Hurricane flawless, cleared a boss completely out of his league. No damage taken. In the gaming world, that is basically considered an impossible feat. Honestly, Romani realizes she barely needs to edit this. The raw gameplay is already absolute cinematic perfection on its own. So, she packages up the final master cut and ships it straight back, slapping the most hyped title ever on it, the Solo Emperor. Cut to a bit later, and our boy rolls back into the Bangu Adventurers Guild. Waiting for him? That familiar mage, who confidently brags about getting a massive power boost. The mage spots Jayhun looking rough, and is definitely wondering what kind of hell he just walked out of. But anyway, it's time for the quest rewards. Boom, quest complete, and he gets a magic book. But not just any book. It's osteology. We are talking about a top-tier necromancer skill you literally cannot buy anywhere. And the icing on the cake? The mage tosses him the corrupted tracker's ring. Turns out, he forged this bad boy using the exact stone Jayhun looted earlier. Equip this, and you can literally weaponize pure, corrupted energy. Jayhun's eyes instantly light up. An item like that? An absolute game changer. But wait for it. He goes to grab the ring, and the mage literally pulls it back. He smirks, saying his apprentice has to actually earn this gear. If Jayhun wants it, he has to rip it from his hands. Of course, it wasn't going to be that easy. So, the chase is on, our guy sprinting after the mage to claim the ultimate prize he worked so hard for. A little later, Jayhun just stares at the ring. Seriously, what was up with that mage's attitude? If that guy wasn't a crucial NPC, our boy would have completely wrecked him. But hey, at least he scored a new quest. Earlier, that arrogant mage blabbed about losing contact with some agent named Miji. The objective? Head straight to Suryu Castle. Jayhun is absolutely boiling inside, but lets it slide. Suryu Castle is a massive high-level zone, so time to grind on the way. Meanwhile, his buddy Romani hits him up. The latest video dropped, and Jayhun needs to see this. Immediately, Jayhun checks the stats. And the numbers? Absolutely mind-blowing. Completely off the charts. And the revenue? Skyrocketing. He literally stumbles backward in pure shock. He's never seen numbers this insane in his entire life. But one thing is crystal clear. With this kind of cash, he can feast like a total king. He knew the video was good, but this shattered every single expectation. He's so hyped he's ready to log off just to grab some epic food. Everything else can totally wait, right? Well, suddenly, a really weird message pops up, a recruitment offer from the Thunder Hunter Guild's leader. And, oh yeah, Jayhun knows exactly who this woman is. In his past life, Cheolin stalked him relentlessly, and, because of his past refusal, his old persona got completely blacklisted. Her entire guild hunted him down without mercy. So, accepting her offer now? Not a chance in hell. Taking a breath, Jayhun realizes something crazy. He's acting exactly like his past self. Cue the flashback. Back then, her persistence made him absolutely furious. He just couldn't wrap his head around it. Why keep bothering him when he was already settled in a guild? At the time, an old buddy told him he was incredibly lucky. The Thunder Hunters were top tier. Getting an invite meant you were an absolute beast at the game. And on top of that, the guild leader came from crazy money. A super wealthy family. Players working for her were pulling in massive, unbelievable salaries. His partner kept hyping his unreal talent, saying their videos were already making bank. Honestly, he told Jayhun he was way too good to be stuck in some starter guild. But classic Jayhun, he completely brushed it off. He didn't care about the fame or the money. He honestly believed in his own team. He thought they had massive potential, that they'd grow together, and the cash would naturally follow. Pure loyalty. That's why he chose to stay. His buddy tried his hardest, but couldn't change his mind back then. Snap back to reality. Jayhun realizes the red flags were everywhere. The betrayal was obvious, he was just completely blind to it. Still, nobody deserves to be stabbed in the back by their own team. But whatever, this is definitely not the time to cry over the past. eyes on the prize. He can't drop the game now. That massive payout? It'll still be there waiting for him to spend later. Plus, why settle now when he can make so much more? Boom. He summons his skeleton squad back to the field. He looks at them. Last time, he carried the whole team. So now, it's boot camp time. A brand new training regimen to level up their combat power, because there is absolutely no way he's repeating the brutal mistakes of his past life. He remembers it perfectly. His old, human teammates, they were always slacking off during training, but his skeletons, absolute loyalty. They follow every single command perfectly. This right here, this is how he totally changes his destiny this time around. Time to get ridiculously strong. He points ahead. Next stop for the Bone Squad, they are heading straight to Suyu Castle. It's going to be one hell of a training montage. The rules are super simple. Just keep running until they hit the target. But if anyone slacks off, oh, they're getting smacked around until they pick up the pace. Talk about perfect motivation. The skeletons sprint like their absolute lives depend on it to avoid taking a beating. Cut to somewhere far away. Cheolin is completely lost in thought. Suddenly, someone walks up and asks what's on her mind. Enter Hatch, one of the top dogs in the Thunder Hunters Guild. He gives her the heads up the big meeting is starting. He's got bad news, too. Their guild is completely stuck on the corrupted count mission. Zero clues for the next step. Cheolin? She is absolutely fuming. The humiliation of letting the rival Hydra Guild beat them to the punch is eating her alive. Hatch tries to calm her down. This meeting has the leaders of all 30 top guilds. They're bound to dig up some crucial intel. She completely scoffs. A meeting like that? Probably a massive waste of time, but she'll show up anyway. Hatch can only wish his boss good luck. Alright, back to our boy Jayhun. That viral video payout almost made him lose his mind completely with all that cash. But just remembering Cheolin's face, that was the reality check he needed. The rage dialed him back in. The gaming grind simply doesn't stop. The second he logged out, boom. The very first thing he did was pay off every single dime he owed the loan sharks. That massive headache is finally dead and buried. Next step, splurging on ultra-rare skill books. Got to stack those crazy game advantages. But guess what? After that epic shopping spree, his bank account flatlined. Just like that, our guy is completely broke once again. Even though he only bought the absolute bare essentials, checking his zero balance bank account, yeah, that physically hurt. To brush off that broke gamer frustration, Jayhun immediately dove into his shiny new skills. First up, Skin Graft, a major defensive buff. He was absolutely hyped to test this out. Stacking it with his Skeleton Warrior's essence, his defense literally shot through the roof. Time for the ultimate test. He grabbed his own blade and slashed right at his arm. Not even a scratch. The protection was way beyond what he expected. Next on the list, the Curse of Sloth, a brutal debuff that absolutely tanks enemy speed. He dropped the curse on one of his bone minions and smiled. Oh yeah, this was going to be a complete game changer in battle. But then came the main event. His final new ability, Golem Summoning. The hardest skill he had earned, and honestly, the one he wanted the absolute most. Raw mana erupted. The summoning circle activated, leaving everyone watching completely speechless. Jayhun, he was practically bouncing off the walls. He had waited so long for this exact moment. Staring at his massive new minion, he smirked. You aren't a real necromancer without a golem. This absolute unit right here, better than any frontline tank I have ever played with. But here is where it gets insane. The golem had a copy mode. Activating this let Jayhun perfectly sync his own movements with the giant beast. Combining the golem's monstrous physical strength with his own crazy combat experience, he was about to become completely unstoppable. But the second he actually tested it, total mood killer. The sync was completely broken. He seriously thought it was a game bug. But then the golem finally threw a punch, about 3 full seconds late. The realization hit him. The golem's base movement speed was just straight up garbage. And man, Jayhun was absolutely furious. Classic pay-to-win trash mechanics. Meanwhile, across town, a massive summit was kicking off. Nurgle, the Ares Guild leader, stood up to welcome the crowd. Chev, the legendary Red Buffalo Slayer, nodded along, clearly glad to see the heavy hitters gathered in one room. But Berg from the Big Smile Guild, looking absolutely miserable. And Cheon was sitting there with pure disgust written all over her face. Berg immediately started complaining. 30 elite guilds got the invite, and only 4 actually bothered to show up. Chev shrugged it off honestly. 4 was better than he thought. But Nurgle, the guy who organized this whole thing, was completely stunned by the disrespect. Look, the top 30 guilds hated each other. Fierce competition was an understatement. Getting them in one room without a bloodbath was practically a miracle. Then Nurgle dropped the bomb. The Hydra Guild had figured out the corrupted Count's identity. They were launching the final raid in exactly 1 month. Chev let out a heavy sigh. You had to admit, the fact that no one else was even close to clearing it was seriously impressive. Hydra was leaving everyone in the dust. Berg pointed out the obvious nightmare: if Hydra monopolizes the main storyline, it is game over for the rest of them. That is when Jayhun finally snapped. She glared right at Berg. If you are too scared to fight, then just keep your mouth shut. Berg slammed his hands down on the table. You really want to go right now? Total chaos. Chev and Nurgle had to physically step in, reminding these two that they had bigger problems. Then, Nurgle pitched the unthinkable: a temporary alliance to crush Hydra. The deal? A complete ceasefire. No backstabbing. Totally shared intel. At least until the corrupted Count questline was officially cleared. Chev absolutely hated playing nice. But honestly, looked like they were completely out of options. And he wasn't the only one feeling trapped. Despise each other or not, they had to shake hands. Even the icy Jayhun agreed. Later that night, sinking into her bath, Jayhun replayed the meeting in her head. The humiliation? Way worse than she expected. She hadn't just failed to solo the Chapter 1 boss. She actually had to beg her biggest rivals for help. Just pathetic. But let's be real, this was her only play left, because if Hydra took the entire pot, everyone else starves. Sharing the loot with enemies was a bitter pill, but way better than walking away empty-handed. Taking a deep breath, Jayhun made her choice. Play along for now. Wait for the perfect moment to strike. She immediately pinged her entire guild: watch Hydra like hawks. Any weird movement, report it straight to her. Winning was the only thing that mattered. Period. Meanwhile, cut back to our boy Jayhun, who just walked back into the Adventurers Guild. An NPC hands him a new ticket destination: Baru Forest. Apparently, some agent named Miggy vanished without a trace, and Jayhun needs to track him down. Jayhun just stared at the guy. That forest was crawling with level 70 monsters. If he stepped foot in there right now, instant death screen. But this NPC was absolutely not backing down. As Himri's apprentice, Jayhun was apparently the chosen one for this suicide run. The catch? Refusing meant instantly losing his corruption tracker title. Walking out of the guild hall, Jayhun felt a massive headache coming on. His quest window was practically bleeding red, with high danger warnings. But turning it down meant throwing away every single thing he had grinded so hard for. The realization hit him like a truck. Power leveling by taking on insanely high-tier quests? It finally came back to bite him. Sure, he had survived impossible missions before, but this time, he was totally out of luck. But here's the thing. John kept taking on absolutely insane quests, way above his level. The result? A literal nightmare challenge. And the worst part? He couldn't even drop it. While panicking, he caught some nearby players whispering. The rumor? The legendary Hydra Guild was about to clear the main storyline. 30 other top-tier guilds? Left completely behind. But everyone was wondering the exact same thing. If the corrupted Count goes down, what happens to all the linked quests? Lightbulb moment for John. Maybe he could completely dodge that suicidal Baru Forest mission. Meanwhile, miles away, some players were staking out a castle. One guy was practically celebrating. He was so sick of standing around staring at those walls. But his partner? Natal. An actual commander from the Hydra Guild. He immediately told his lackey to chill out. This wasn't over. Not by a long shot. They had to lock that perimeter down until the Count was history. Absolute secrecy was the rule here. No leaks allowed. But out of nowhere, some random player waltzes right in, screaming, "Enter Kim," the number 3 guy from the Red Buffalo Guild. Natal was instantly on guard. Why was a rival here? Kim played dumb, claimed he was just hunting a massive high-level boss nearby, then casually asked if the Hydra guys were doing the exact same thing. Natal? Forced to agree, hiding their real target. But Kim just smirked, mocking their rough shape. With a cocky wave, Kim strolled off to do his own thing. That sheer disrespect? It had Natal absolutely seething. The second he's clear, Kim hops on comms. He tells his boss the leaked intel is 100% legit. Chev, their top assassin, was practically speechless. He had totally written off that anonymous tip about the Count as a complete joke. His officer warned him. Free intel like that? Definitely a massive trap. Chev wasn't buying it. His theory? A Hydra insider went rogue. Someone angry enough to backstab their own team. Trap or not, they had to take the huge gamble. Kim immediately offered to start swinging just to buy them some precious time. But Chev shut that down fast. ordering him back. If the big boss was really there, Hydra's main army was definitely lurking nearby. Chev wasn't risking his best guy blindly. Him brushed it off. He figured he wasn't worth ambushing. Huge mistake. Suddenly, he gets violently jumped, sending his whole team into panic, blade pressed right against his neck. Turns out, Red Buffalo wasn't the only guild that got that mysterious email. The Thunder Hunters had arrived. And their princess, Hahui? She demanded he spill everything, or it was game over for him. Cut back to John. A terrifying bear roared. Opposite it, John's massive stone golem, completely ready to fight. Boom! The beast moved like lightning, crashing into the rock monster. The golem tanked the hit and tried swinging back, but it was way too slow. That bear treated it like a practice dummy. But John, he wasn't watching. He just wondered why his inbox was totally dead. Remember that leak? Yeah, that was John. He used his past life knowledge to mass email the Count's exact location, fully expecting replies, all just to completely dodge his own impossible forest quest. The logic was simple. If the Count dies, his quest vanishes. This game's main story works in massive phases. Right now, everyone was stuck in Chapter 1, the Corrupted Count arc. And when this boss hits 0, boom. Every connected side quest gets auto-completed or deleted, shifting the entire world into the next chapter. John knew he didn't stand a chance against the boss himself. His level was way too low for that suicide mission. Let the heavy hitters do the dirty work. He didn't care who got the kill. As long as the boss died, John was golden. That's exactly why he blasted that secret to multiple guilds. He was waiting for a reply. But out of nowhere, a system ping. The Hydra Guild just went live on broadcast. Right then, his golem gets completely wrecked, inches from death. But John steps up, instantly crushing the monster himself. Look, I need absolute silence for this stream, so keep it quiet, he muttered. Annoyance gone. He pulled up the live feed to see if his plan worked. The Hydra spokesperson was bragging, claiming they were the absolute first to track down the boss, and a raid was coming. They even had a date. John practically held his breath, praying it was happening this month. When they dropped the actual date, his jaw hit the floor. Hydra was launching their all-out assault in exactly 3 days. He was buzzing. That was insanely fast. Our guy was literally trying not to laugh out loud, like an absolute maniac. The background battle faded away. John put the pieces together. Hydra was rushing, because they knew their secret was completely exposed. Hydra getting the glory? Totally fine by him. They had the numbers and the raw power to completely steamroll this boss. All he had to do was grab some popcorn and wait for the quest complete notification. Perfect plan, right? Well, wait for it. The news completely breaks the internet. The legendary Hydra Guild? They got absolutely and utterly wiped out. Watching from his room, June is just absolutely stunned. He mutters, if you're jumping into a raid, at least come prepared. Failing in under an hour? Pathetic. He totally overestimated the Hydra Guild. Now, he's got to find a backup plan. Just then, ding. A notification pops up. The Red Buffalo Guild is going live, and their leader, Chev, the Slayer. On stream, Chev breaks the news. The Hydra Guild just wiped, and the map is already resetting. He warns his squad. This boss? It just deleted a top-tier guild. Plus, he admits they're running dangerously low on backup supplies. Their odds of winning? Dropping fast. But backing down? Not happening. For the pride of the Red Buffaloes, Chev steps right up to the plate. His squad goes wild. But watching the stream, Jayhun groans. This is a complete suicide mission. The Red Buffaloes are tough, sure, but weaker than the guild that just died. Then Chev drops a massive bombshell. He's not going alone. Enter the Thunder Hunter Guild's leader, the Thunder Queen. Seeing Sil step up, Jayhun's jaw hits the floor. Chiolian teaming up with a rival? Never saw that coming. Flashback time. Back at camp, Chev gets an unexpected visit from Chiolian herself. He smirked, admitting a secret meetup wasn't exactly on his bingo card today. She played it cool, no bad blood here, just temporary allies. But Chev wasn't letting it go. The Thunder Queen literally crushed one of his guys earlier. Sil just waved it off as a minor clash. She was only there for serious business. She knew he had secret intel on the corrupted Count. Chev tried playing dumb, but she wasn't having it. Zero time for silly games right now. She already double-checked the leaks with other top guilds before even walking into his camp. Plus, she called him out. There was no way Chev tracked down a boss like that completely solo. Caught off guard, Chev finally cracked, swearing he had zero clue who the mysterious informant actually was. Cutting to the chase, Chiolian asked straight up, did he really think the Hydra Guild could clear it? Because she definitely didn't. Hydra went in completely blind. desperate for that sweet first clear glory. But a massive main quest boss? You don't just blindly rush that kind of fight. Her genius strategy? Let those tryhards become cannon fodder first. Watch them die, steal their attack patterns, and counter. Confused, Chev narrowed his eyes. What exactly are you pitching here? Bam. Sil slammed her blade right into the table, catching everyone off guard. Her pitch? A temporary alliance. The second Hydra wipes, they raid the boss together. Chev thought she was just talking tough, but looking into those eyes, pure, terrifying resolve. Flash forward to right now. Chev sees she wasn't bluffing. In this joint raid, she is going absolutely all out. As a team, they finally reach the count. But the boss? He smirks at these fragile players. Boom! A massive wave of horrifying monsters floods the room, and panic sets in. Even with two top guilds backing them up, they're getting completely overwhelmed. But Sil stands her ground like an absolute tank. Fired up, Chev steps in as her shield. He yells at the Thunder Queen to push forward, swearing he'll hold the line. No hesitation. Sil blasts forward, trusting Chev completely to watch her blind spots. As she rushes in, the Count just laughs, mocking her pathetic attempt. He unleashes an insane barrage of deadly attacks, but she weaves through every single one like an absolute blur. In just seconds, Sil is right up in his face. She winds up for the kill, but wait. A sudden counterattack slams into her. This boss isn't going down that easy. Out of nowhere, massive tentacles shoot up and trap her completely. Chev's heart skips a beat. But hey, this is Sil we're talking about. Flexing her raw power, she literally shreds the tentacles to pieces. Now, oh, she is completely dialed in, ready to end this whole fight. One final dash. She gets right into the danger zone, winds up her blade, and slash. The Count is split clean in two. Watching this, Chev just loses his mind cheering. He mutters under his breath the Thunder Queen is way more terrifying than the rumors. The whole world watched it live. Jayhun is just sitting there, completely furious that Cheolian stole the kill. Still, he takes a deep breath. At least the annoying boss is finally dead. Honestly, it didn't matter who got credit. Jayhun smirks, letting his rival enjoy her 15 minutes of fame. That boss? It's going to be her final win, because when he's done leveling up, his revenge is going to be absolute. Cut to the Bulkas Mountains. John is already back on the endless daily grind. Ever since his revival, he's had one single obsession: payback. He's coming for every single player who dared to backstab him. That's exactly why he's diving straight into these absolute death traps. He needs insane power. Fast. Let's rewind a few hours. Jayhun's squad rolled up to the mountain entrance, only to hit a massive invisible wall. A blocked field, system requirement, blocked their path. John instantly knew the truth. This high-level zone was totally locked behind the Warlord's Chapter 2 update. But the second Sil killed the Count and cleared that massive world quest, the barrier completely shattered. Stepping across the threshold, John smiles. He's officially the very first player to enter the zone. The pioneer of a brand new frontier. Our guy thought he hit the absolute jackpot. Uncharted map? That is peak content right there. But reality hit hard when John ran straight into level 60 wild boars. At level 41, running for his life was his only play here. Which brings us back to right now. John couldn't believe his absolute garbage luck, spawning right next to these beasts. Time was ticking. Other players would flood this map any second now. Desperate, John summoned his skeleton squad to buy some time. But honestly, total waste of effort. His undead crew got absolutely shredded in mere seconds. Not that John cared, they were just bait anyway. Taking his shot, he blasted the boars with frost magic, locking them completely in ice. Perfect setup, right? Wide open targets. But then you literally cannot make this up. John slipped on a random banana peel. Out of nowhere, up in the trees, a monkey was dying of laughter. An armored monkey. Absolute menaces known for trolling players hardcore. Jayhun was completely ready to murder this primate. But wait, the boars. He learned the hard way his freeze spell had a painfully short timer. Right when he thought it was game over, salvation came crashing in out of nowhere. John watched, completely stunned, as a single arrow pierced the lead boar. And get this, that one shot? It wiped out the entire pack. Just one attack. How insanely overpowered do you have to be? The dust cleared, and a hunter stepped up. "Are you all right?" he asked. Meanwhile, miles away at Suryu Castle, a different squad spotted something seriously crazy. Their jaws just completely hit the floor. Someone was casually rocking the White Mamba set. Insanely expensive. Unbelievably rare. The crazy part? Nobody recognized this guy at all. Plot twist. It was that exact Hydra guild member who tried hunting down Jayhun earlier. He glanced at his teammate. Got any updates for me? His partner just sighed. Nothing. No guild has the intel we need. Makes sense. That leak about the corrupted count came from a completely anonymous drop, totally untraceable. He asked about Ha-Ho Mask, but she immediately shot that down. He is just uploading his normal gaming videos. Nothing out of the ordinary. Plus, no way some random rookie grabbed top-tier intel like that. Frustrated, the guy announced he was heading to his mercenary gig at the Sweepers Guild. Meanwhile, though, he gave a final order: hunt down the leaker. Whoever ruined the game's balance. They were going to pay a heavy price. Cutting back to Jayhun, he is currently chatting up his savior. And our boy recognized him instantly. Mong. Literally the main NPC for Chapter 2. This guy's stats were no joke. He used to be the royal prince's personal combat tutor. Some bad politics got him expelled, though, and now he commands the guard unit protecting the Bulka Mountains instead. Finding Mong right now, Jayhun's terrible luck had officially reversed. But Mong wasn't messing around. You cannot stay here. This place is swarming with nothing but deadly beasts. The veteran hunter desperately wanted our main character safe. But Jayhun? He saw a golden opportunity to twist this entirely to his advantage. Playing it cool, he dropped some lore. The corrupted count has fallen, yet his tainted monsters remain. He completely bluffed, claiming he tracked the dark magic straight to this forest. And now, he just needed a little backup to solve the mystery. Hook, line, and sinker. Mong sighed. I have my suspicions, but absolutely zero proof. He actually asked Jayhun to help him investigate. Jackpot. That was exactly what our boy wanted to hear. He accepted instantly. System notification pops up: new mission. Uncover the truth behind the local monsters. John knew a massive experience farm when he saw one. Time to level up. Smart play? Ignore the heavy hitters like the bears and boars for now. Farm the weaklings first. Which meant one specific target was on the menu: that armored monkey. Jayhun was going to make that little pest deeply regret the whole banana peel incident. This monkey forest? An absolute death trap of sick pranks. And this wasn't some basic mob. This thing was a sadistic troll, literally feeding on player misery and laughing while they suffered. Hiding up in the branches, just waiting for the perfect second to ruin someone's day with a piece of fruit. But its trolling days were officially over. Jayhun steps up, crashing the party. Oh, you are dead meat, he promised. Pure determination in his eyes. The payback hunt for this chaotic primate had officially begun. But man, this thing was slippery. Dodging every single strike like it was nothing. It owned these woods, and its speed was just broken. John was getting absolutely tilted. The thick tree canopy kept blocking every single one of his melee attacks. Time to switch things up. If close combat wasn't working, John was bringing the pain from a distance. Stepping back, he launched his sword straight at that monkey's smug face. The blade flies straight at it. The monkey freezes, pure panic, taking over a mistake that nearly costs its life. Smack. Jayhun's sword hits a tree instead. The monkey actually starts laughing, but our boy, totally unfazed. That missed throw? Pure bait. Bam. His golem launches forward, completely leveling the monkey's tree. And just like that, mission accomplished. The tricky beast goes down. Plus, Jayhun scores the epic title for being the very first player to bag an armored monkey. Riding this high, he makes a call: time to farm the absolute heck out of these monsters. Meanwhile, the entire world is obsessed with one huge event. The legendary guild masters who just took down the corrupted count. We are talking about Shev from the Red Buffaloes and Sil from the Thunder Hunters. A reporter shoves a mic in Sil's face, asking how she pulled off this insane world first clear. Flashing a perfect, camera-ready smile, Sil plays the humble card. Oh, it was just pure luck, she says, promising to keep grinding. But the absolute second those cameras turn off, the fake smile drops. Sil's ultra-serious, calculating true personality instantly snaps right back. Her vice guild master praises her amazing leadership, saying she practically carried them. But Sil, she shuts it down, insisting it really was just luck. She honestly admits they would have been totally wiped out without the Red Buffalo Guild carrying their weight during the raid. Sil isn't celebrating yet. She knows exactly what they are missing. To absolutely dominate this game, she desperately needs the Ha-Ho Mask player. Switching gears, she suddenly demands to have a little chat with Hatch. Her right-hand girl is super confused. Why waste time talking to a total loser like him? Sil just smirks. She has a very specific target to hunt, and Hatch, he is going to be the perfect bait. Back to our boy Jayhun. He is slaughtering monkeys non-stop, but his sword, completely snapped in half. Yeah, definitely time for a major gear upgrade. Minor issue, though he is dead broke. With zero cash in his pocket, Jayhun sets his sights on something else. Monster gems. These things? Insanely rare. We are talking terrible drop rates that make players want to rage quit. But you absolutely need them to craft top-tier gear, with crazy special effects. And Jayhun knows armored monkey gems are perfect for this. So, he points at the forest. Skeletons. Wipe out every single armored monkey in sight. 9 absolute soul-crushing hours later. Hundreds of dead monkeys. And 0 gem drops. Are you kidding me? The frustration was getting super real. He wasn't stopping until he got one. But suddenly, some random guy crashes the party, yelling out, "You must be the Ha-Ho Mask." Jayhun turns around, totally annoyed. Who is this clown? The guy is flexing an ultra-expensive fire lizard armor set. Oh, and he is packing an orc hero sword, which means this guy has to be level 70. Minimum. Jayhun immediately thinks, great, another hater coming for revenge. The flashy dude introduces himself as Coyote and instantly challenges our main character to a duel. Coyote straight up admits he wants clout. He knows Jayhun's streaming videos are blowing up, and crushing him live means easy views. Jayhun barely even looks at him. Not interested. Man, go away. Our boy is already raging about the terrible drop rates, and now this massive attention seeker is buzzing around like an annoying mosquito. But Coyote is desperate. He practically begs, offering 5,000 gold if the mask just accepts the fight. Instantly, Jayhun's whole mood completely flips. Suddenly, fighting this guy sounds fantastic. As they prep for the showdown, Coyote loudly declares himself the ultimate hero of justice. This guy honestly thought his natural gaming talent made him the absolute main character everywhere. Until he logged into Warlord. That is, literally nobody cared about him. So when the entire server started hyping up some masked newbie, Coyote got super jealous. He became obsessed. He needed to find this Ha-Ho Mask guy, crush him on stream, and take back the spotlight he deserved. Looking at him now, Coyote was convinced the mask had garbage stats and completely trash equipment. It drove him crazy. How does a complete scrub get millions of fans while a top-tier player gets ignored? Before this random meetup, Coyote had been just wandering the game, totally desperate for any shred of internet fame. And then, boom, pure luck. He actually spots his target out in the wild. But here is the crazy part. The masked guy was farming inside a completely restricted zone, a totally secret area Coyote only found by total accident. In that exact second, Coyote realized this was his golden ticket. Record a video destroying the server's most famous player and become an overnight gaming superstar. Cut to now. Coyote actually strips off his expensive armor, wearing just a helmet. Jayhun stares at him, like, dude, what are you doing? Coyote smirks. He claims he's just evening the playing field. Since Jayhun is clearly a low-level weakling with a shattered sword, fighting in full armor wouldn't be fair. The guy was absolutely desperate for a clean fight. He didn't want the comment section saying he only won because of pay-to-win gear. Then, he flexes, warning Jayhun to prepare for absolute destruction. Done talking, Coyote charges right in. But Jayhun just sighs. Yeah, it's really hard to be intimidated by a guy fighting in his underwear. But Jayhun? He casually sidesteps every attack. Coyote is fuming, screaming at him to actually fight. Jayhun just smirks. You want me serious? Earn it. Boom. Coyote pops a skill, supercharging his strikes. He lands a brutal punch, sending our boy flying, a warrior speed booster. Jayhun instantly recognizes the rare skill. And get this, despite looking like a total clown, he realizes Coyote's actual combat power level is absolutely off the charts. Ahead on Clash right now? Pure suicide. Jayhun dusts himself off time for plan B. Seeing him stand, Coyote gets totally hyped. Ha-Ho is finally getting serious. He literally dares him to bring it on, convinced he can tank anything. Why? Because this guy just loves showing off his superiority to the crowd. Out of patience, Coyote fires his booster again. But Jayhun immediately retaliates. He kicks dirt straight into his face. Helmet or not, Coyote is totally blinded. And bam, Jayhun instantly sweeps his legs. Jayhun knows he's outclassed in raw strength. The goal isn't overpowering him, it's complete immobilization. Create an opening, then finish him. After eating dirt, Coyote absolutely loses it. Coward! He screams in rage. You really gonna win by fighting dirty? Jayhun doesn't even blink. This is survival, he snaps back. Honor? Yeah. I literally do not care about that. Winning is all that matters. Right then, Jayhun activates his new armored monkey skills, totally maxing out his power in one epic surge. Coyote's instincts scream. If this hits, game over. Jayhun glares at him, You wanted this. Deal with it. But wait, at the last millisecond, Coyote absolutely surrenders. Jayhun throws the devastating blow, but halts it an inch away. The sheer shockwave just blasts safely into the air. The guy was absolutely terrified. He literally forgot about virtual reality, genuinely thinking his life was over. Our boy, though, totally hyped and ready for his loot. See, dying in-game triggers a massive 2-day ban. That's exactly why Coyote tapped out so fast. Spared by the bet, a very relieved Coyote removes his helmet. He openly admits Haho is on another level completely. Conceding defeat, he drops the promised 5,000 gold. But wait, he actually gives up his sword, too. Jayhun is utterly speechless. The legendary hero Orc's sword, insanely rare, packed with broken stats. Our main character is literally drooling over this priceless treasure. Coyote humbly calls it a symbol of his deep respect. He confesses he was too obsessed with chasing fame, never actually putting in the work to get strong. This crushing defeat was an absolute wake-up call. Now, Coyote dramatically declares they are basically sworn brothers. Jayhun thinks, okay, complete idiot, but maybe not totally evil. So naturally, he instantly rejects the brotherhood thing and literally smacks Coyote down into the dirt. Oh, it gets wilder. He mercilessly orders his undead skeletons to jump the guy. Even while getting absolutely stumped, Coyote yells that he'll train hard, become truly worthy, and prove himself as a brother. He literally screams that he cannot wait for their next epic reunion. Absolute madman, Jayhun thinks, though he's glad the dude is having fun. Honestly, this crazy little duel was absolutely worth his time. Fresh funds? Check. Overpowered sword? Double check. The endless monkey grinding is over. Jayhun is finally geared up enough to tackle the main storyline. Though, maybe just a few more monkeys wouldn't hurt. He's totally addicted to the drops, convinced a rare gem is coming. His summons literally have to drag him away. Later, Jayhun checks his insane kill count. 950 monkeys, 104 wolves, and 76 venomous lizards. Pure massacre. Manhwa is blown away. He praises our boy, saying the entire investigation is progressing perfectly, but Jayhun is totally zoning out. Manhwa snaps him back, and Jayhun sheepishly admits he was just daydreaming about spending all that sweet gold. Focus up, Manhwa warns, dead serious. Because this next quest? It's basically a suicide mission. He reveals the target, a terrifying warrior bear, has spawned near the mountain peak. These aren't normal beasts. We're talking absolute armored titans fighting exactly like human veterans. The objective? Figure out who is supplying these beasts with high-level gear. Cracking this mystery unlocks a major piece of the corrupted lore. Simply put, go solo a boss-level bear and steal its weapon. Manhwa knows it's an insanely tall order, asking if Jayhun can actually survive this alone. Jayhun just confidently nods. Please. He already knows exactly how to handle these heavy hitters. Cut to a few minutes later, he's already trekking the mountain path. But hold up, time for a quick shopping spree before the boss. Jayhun swipes open the virtual auction house. He desperately needs gear that actually matches his newly spiked stats. Bingo. A skeleton serpent set catches his eye, absolutely perfect. Zero hesitation. He drops the gold and instantly equips that epic armor on the spot. Oh man, the joy of being rich. He's already happily planning to buy rare magic books next. Meanwhile, his skeleton crew is literally begging for shiny new gear. Jayhun almost totally forgot about them. He checks the shop inventory, but reality hits fast. He's completely broke. Nowhere near enough cash to gear up the whole squad. Where did all his money go? Total shocker. But yeah, his undead squad? They're stuck with their basic starter weapons for now. Oh, the summons were not happy. Jayhun tried playing defense, muttering that it wasn't exactly his fault. The shop's prices were an absolute scam. Then, he spots a pack of boar monsters. Perfect timing. Time to farm some gold. That's literally all the motivation his undead minions needed. Total carnage. Minutes later, just a single lonely boar left standing. Jayhun yells at his crew to wrap it up. Want that new armor? Better hustle. But wait, someone else's attack suddenly obliterates their target out of nowhere. Jayhun freezes. Complete blindside. Then, some arrogant voice echoes out, "Who gave you permission to hunt on our turf, newbie?" Classic guild bullies. This whole zone is Apollo Guild property. They bragged. Cross us, and you're basically begging for a death sentence. The squad leader, Wang Jiang, steps up, throwing absolute bottom-tier threats right at Jayhun. Jayhun's reaction? Utter boredom. He sees them as total trash mobs and blasts them instantly. Dusting his hands, he drops a cold. Stay out of my way. Seriously though, he's been acting like an absolute magnet for clueless idiots lately. He definitely needs to fix this reputation problem soon, but whatever. Jayhun just walks off, totally unfazed. Behind him, a beaten Wang Jiang spits out. The Apollo Guild doesn't let things slide. You'll pay for this. Cut to later. Apollo himself, the actual guildmaster, gets the report. Somebody dared to trash his loyal lackeys, knowing the attacker completely ignored their guild's supposedly terrifying reputation. Oh, Apollo was absolutely furious. He immediately barks orders. Hunt this rat down. Spare zero expense. I'm going to rip him apart personally. Meanwhile, back with Jayhun, our boy finally hits the boss bear's territory. Hunting time. Jayhun smirks, but his undead squad, looking way too relaxed. So, he immediately snaps them right back to reality. Listen up, he warns. We're dropping a level 70 warrior bear. 3 crazy battle phases. 0 room for stupid mistakes. He hypes them up, securing the absolute first kill on this boss. That practically guarantees them a ridiculous lead over every top guild in the main scenario. So yeah, absolutely no slipping up allowed. And right on cue, the ground literally starts shaking. The enemy is here. I mean, a massive mutant bear isn't exactly built for stealth. Jayhun instantly equips his absolute best armor, locking right into combat mode. His goal? Complete monopoly. He's planning to sweep every single main quest reward, leaving absolutely nothing but scraps for the rest. Nearby, Hatch scopes out the Bulkas Mountains, praying the infamous Haho mask still lingers around. Honestly, Hatch is beyond salty. He's a VIP player, getting dispatched to this middle-of-nowhere zone just to track down some nobody rookie? A total insult. Plus, forcefully kidnapping recruits for the guild is straight-up criminal behavior. Right in the middle of his complaining, a wild boar suddenly ambushes him. Please. As a veteran high-tier mage, Hatch literally turns the beast to ash in seconds. He sighs. Finish the job, grab the target, and escape this dump. Ballista Hatch is a highly respected guild ranker. That status alone should guarantee him elite missions, definitely not babysitting duty in the muddy woods. Back to the fight. Jayhun remembers his past life. He ran this exact raid 6 agonizing times with a full guild, only barely surviving. But this time, failure isn't an option. If he wipes, another squad steals the main quest lead. To actually inflict critical damage here, Jayhun knows the trick. Target the tiny gaps between the boss's heavy armor plating. Classic regression advantage. He brought highly specific skills tailored perfectly to absolutely wreck this beast. Jayhun gives the signal. Follow his lead. Time to test drive his brand new passive skill, Muscle Modification. The second it activates, boom. His movement speed goes off the charts, but it's too fast. He totally overshoots the target, leaving his undead squad completely exposed and defenseless. Bam! The bear crushes his skeletons instantly. Jayhun winces as his perfect strategy completely crumbles. He desperately tries recovering his balance to leverage that insane speed, but the skill is way too wild. He just hasn't mastered this crazy momentum yet. A massive paw swipes down, forcing him to cancel the muscle buff. Hey, he still managed to rip off a huge chunk of the boss's side armor. But honestly, he curses the skill. Moving that fast means absolutely zero hit accuracy. So now, it's dodge or die. Completely stripped of his close-range offense, Jayhun pivots hard, chucking explosive bombs from a safe distance instead. The bear tanks the explosion directly to the face, but it just enters absolute rage mode. Jayhun quickly realizes raw direct damage won't cut it against this tank. Gulping a potion, he resummons his skeleton crew. Change of plans. Time to fight like a true, absolute necromancer. Round 2. Boys, he smirks. This time we end it. Finding the perfect opening, Jayhun summons his massive, heavy-hitting golem. The literal giant crashes onto the battlefield. It instantly steps right up to face the furious bear, making Jayhun smile like an absolute menace. Jayhun chants, casting a heavy petrification spell to harden his golem's rocky exterior. The bear slashes down, but its massive sword gets completely wedged inside the rock. Perfect opening. Skeletons, attack. With its weapon stuck and chest completely exposed, the terrifying boss becomes an absolute sitting duck. But Jayhun stays sharp. Keep your guard up, he warns them. Because, trust me, I've still got one absolutely insane ace up my sleeve. Then boom. A massive fire attack suddenly blasts both John and the bear. Jayhun is absolutely furious. His teammate was supposed to wait. Thanks to that massive mess-up, the bear pops a skill and instantly heals half its health. The massive beast charges straight at them, and honestly, John is totally done playing smart. Time to drop strategy. Brute force? That is always the best answer. With a crazy shout, he chucks his absolute strongest bombs, completely terrifying his own team. One blinding explosion later, the bear is down. He looks back, An entire top-tier guild failed this before. Now, he just soloed it? Brimming with confidence, John turns to his skeleton summons. Easy, he says. Just hit up the quest giver and claim the reward. But wait, he is the only one celebrating. His skeletons, totally bummed out. They honestly wanted to smash things themselves. Cut to the western base. Inside a shady tavern, Hatch is literally losing his mind. He is beyond frustrated. Finding this mask guy? Impossible. He searched these mountains for days without one single clue. To make it way worse, the mask just dropped a brand new video. The result? A massive flood of players rushing the mountain, making his job absolutely impossible. He cannot exactly crawl back empty-handed. But come on, searching this massive mountain completely solo? For a ghost? Totally unfair. He is literally seconds away from rage-quitting his own guild. Then, his boss calls. Hatch nearly jumps out of his skin. He was just trash-talking her. He scrambles to answer, sweating and apologizing for anything she might have heard. But his boss, Sil, actually sounds nice. She admits she totally messed up by giving him an impossible mission. Searching a whole mountain alone? Brutal. She finally realizes just how insane that task was. Hope sparks in his eyes. Finally, he can escape these cursed mountains and go back. Yeah, nope. Her brilliant fix? Sending back up so he can keep searching out there. Sil spins it perfectly. 2 people, double the speed. Pure efficiency. But wait for the twist. She sent his absolute worst enemy. Hahui crashes the party, totally furious, screaming that Hatch's garbage skills dragged her out here. Hatch dies inside. Bad? Try absolute rock bottom. This is a total disaster. He absolutely curses his terrible luck. Meanwhile, Jayhun notices the zone is way more packed today. Classic. He knew the hype train would arrive eventually. Time to sneak back to town while he is still holding the VIP quest secret. But halfway there? Roadblock. A bunch of heavy hitters from the Apollo Guild block his path. John instantly assumes they want revenge. He flexes, telling them to bring it on. He has zero time for nonsense. Wait. What? They sprint right past him, absolutely screaming for their lives. Jayhun is totally confused. He did nothing yet. Suddenly, he watches those Apollo soldiers get absolutely slaughtered. And there are the killers. The Thunder Hunter Guild's princess and her partner. Wow, they just hit the jackpot. Jayhun instantly spots them and freezes. What are those monsters doing way out here? The princess points right at him. Found the target. She is the guild's number 2. They call her the princess, but her real nickname? Chihuahua. Short, loud, and incredibly vicious. She blindly follows her leader's orders. Like, literally marching into hell for her. The other guy? He is number 3, Hatch. They call him Ballista. Why? Because this genius mage locks onto targets and never misses. Jayhun gets cold sweats remembering how these two hunted him in his past life. A sequel to that nightmare? Hard pass. He quickly guesses they are trying to forcefully recruit him into their ranks. Honestly, John wants to wipe the floor with them right now. But being underleveled, the only option left is talking his way out. So, Jayhun totally plays the fool. Ha-ho mask. Never heard of the guy. Who is that? No proof, no problem, right? They cannot prove a thing, but the princess instantly calls his bluff. Ha-he screams that literally everyone in these mountains knows the mask. His viral videos are the exact reason this place is packed. Plus, she points out his outfit perfectly matches the mask's exact style. Totally busted. Suspicion is peaking. But Hatch totally cuts her off. They have much bigger problems. Hatch straight up calls her an idiot. She literally blew up an inn and casually murdered players on pure suspicion. She left an absolute trail of disaster. Their guild is top tier. They cannot act like villains and face zero consequences. Hatch crosses his arms. Apologize right now, so they can finish this mission without more absolute chaos. So, Hahui finally swallows her pride, offering a half-hearted apology to our mage. Hatch steps up next, completely embarrassed by his guildmate. He begs Jay for forgiveness, just wanting to move on. Jay thinks the drama is over. But nope. Out of nowhere, bam. A literal fist to the face. Hahui totally played him. She faked, passing out, just to sneak attack him, sending our boy flying. Laying in the dirt, Jay is absolutely baffled. Like, why? And her excuse? Classic spoiled princess logic. She seriously claims she expected him to dodge. Jay is furious. Do you guys just go around jumping random players? He immediately threatens to report the Thunder Hunters Guild. Plus, he threatens to make a massive public post, making sure everyone knows this elite guild attacks random players for fun. Panic mode activated for Hatch. He jumps in, waving cash to cover the damage. And, honestly, Jay takes the money, letting them off the hook. Hatch quickly drags Hahui away before she starts another fight. Meanwhile, Jay is boiling with pure rage over that sucker punch, but he plays it cool. Exposing his real power right now? Not worth the risk. He just needs to bide his time. Oh, sweet payback is definitely coming. Miles away, Hatch is losing his mind, scolding the princess. He begs her to respect their guild's image, but she shrugs. Most players would dodge that, she argues. Hatch just stares. Are you seriously blaming him for getting hit? She denies it, obviously, but she admits something felt off. Jay only looked slightly annoyed, which is completely suspicious. Hatch just sighs, practically begging her to stop causing chaos and act like a normal player. Later on, Jay finally meets up with Mong, handing over that bear armor piece. The NPC's eyes widen. He confirms some dark stuff is happening, thanking Jay for bringing proof he couldn't get himself. But Jay? He doesn't care about lore. He just wants his next quest fast, terrified other guilds might steal his lead. Mong brings out a mysterious box, telling our boy to pick an item. He reveals they are custom maps, leading straight into monster dungeons. Jay's eyes light up. Treasure maps. Grab one, clear the dungeon, and rake in that sweet loot. But wait for it. As Mong hands over the map, he casually drops a catch. He needs a favor. Classic game logic, nothing is ever free. Jay groans as the NPC asks him to investigate some wild rumors about armed monsters spawning way out past the Bulka Mountains. Jay sighs. All right, where am I looking? The Parang Forest. Mong replies. And instantly, Jay's face drops. He clearly hates hearing that name. He's definitely not thrilled, but he accepts the quest. Outside, he does the math. That forest is a level 90 zone. He seriously needs to grind on the way there. Time to formulate a crazy speed leveling strategy now. After soloing that warrior bear, he feels ready for absolutely any challenge. But right in the middle of his plotting, someone shows up. Shev the Slayer walks up, asking if Jay remembers his face. Meanwhile, Hatch calls his boss. He's absolutely losing it. He cannot babysit the princess for another second, though he promises he hasn't quit the mission. Hatch reports that the Red Buffaloes Guild just locked down Sura Canyon. He strongly suggests they ditch the side quest and focus on their primary goal. Honestly, he's totally sick of chasing a player who clearly refuses to join their elite team. Sil thinks it over and allows them to prioritize the main quest, putting the Ha-Ho Mask recruitment on pause. But secretly, she hasn't given up on him at all. She truly believes top-tier players always cross paths. He can't run forever. She just needs patience to find him. Back to the grind. Jay stumbles across a level 75 demonic goat, but it's barely a warm-up. He summons his skeletons and absolutely wrecks it. Boom! Level 62 achieved. Jay is hyped, knowing he's closer to surviving Parang Forest. But there's a huge problem right now. A massive crowd of players is watching his every move. They are hardcore Ha-Ho Mask fanboys, desperately trying to get his attention. And Jay? He despises this. He literally tries to sprint away from the unwanted spotlight. This has been happening way too often lately. His gameplay videos are going totally viral online right now. Sure, the views and hype are great, but having a literal live audience tracking his every skill use? Completely uncomfortable. And, even worse, every single hunting spot is swarmed. He can barely farm any experience because of all the random players crowding his space. So, Jay makes a bold call. He's heading straight for Sura Canyon. Those terrifying high-level monsters should definitely scare off these low-level stalker fans. But wait, halfway there, guess who completely blocks his path? It's Shev the Slayer, looking insanely happy to see him. For Jay, absolute nightmare scenario right now. Shev points right at him. You're that guy from the starting village, he yells. Yeah, he definitely hasn't forgotten that epic day. I mean, getting completely embarrassed like that. It doesn't happen often. Plus, Shev has been leveling up at an absolutely insane pace. Fast forward a few months from their first meeting in the beginner zone, and boom, he catches Jayhun right outside Sura Canyon. Jayhun plays it cool, pointing out that this low-level area is basically a joke for someone of Shev's rank. So, why is he here? Shev just smirks. Apparently, his massive guild took total control of the canyon overnight. They wanted a forward operating base close to the main questline. But get this, Shev had a gut feeling the infamous Ha-Ho Mask would show up here. That's exactly why he's been camping the entrance. He admits that, after seeing that viral clip of Ha-Ho crushing the warrior bear, rumors started flying around. So, he's just casually patrolling the zone. Then, Shev casually asks if Jayhun is also trying to figure out Ha-Ho Mask's true identity. Jayhun immediately plays dumb, turns around, and completely bolts. Once he's safely away, our boy is seriously stressing. Why is everyone suddenly hunting him down? First Sil, now Chev, two insanely strong guild leaders, both hunting the exact same guy. As Haho Mask, Jayhun knows if this keeps up, his leveling speed is going to tank. But running away isn't an option either. His main quest is locked to this exact region. Right as the panic starts setting in, it hits him. The map he got from Mong. A secret dungeon map. This could be his ultimate get-out-of-jail-free card. These legendary hidden zones are usually impossible to find. But with specific coordinates? Total game changer. Arriving at the coordinates, Jayhun knows this is going to be incredibly sketchy. But hey, massive risk usually equals insanely good loot. Right? At least, that's what he's praying for. He takes one massive gulp of air and dives straight down into the freezing water, going deeper and deeper. There it is, a secret underwater cave. But it's way too far. His lungs are absolutely screaming on fire, totally ready to give out before he even gets close. But right at the absolute breaking point, he bursts through the surface. He actually survived. The legendary hidden dungeon from the map is staring right back at him. Jayhun's logic was simple. Need to dodge the top players? Hide somewhere literally no one can track you. Mission accomplished. Because without that super specific item, this zone is completely locked off. And right now, our guy is the only player holding the key. Plus, hidden zones mean rare monster spawns. He's totally ready for some absolutely brutal fights that will push his limits completely. A few steps in, he spots movement. Tension spikes. What crazy nightmare creature is waiting? Oh, wow. All that hype, just for a squishy, low-level slime. Talk about a total letdown. He expected an absolutely massive, terrifying threat. Pissed off, Jayhun groans. Seriously? A basic slime in a secret dungeon? But wait, the blob suddenly twists, morphing uncontrollably while blasting out this blinding, super intense fiery aura. Boom. He figures it out instantly. A spirit monster is nearby. These elemental beasts are unbelievably rare in Warlord. Their loot? Absolutely essential for forging top-tier elemental gear. Everyone wants them, which means Jayhun could make an absolute fortune just by auctioning off a single material. No time to waste. He immediately orders his undead squad to strike. But the glowing slime panics and shrieks out this ear-piercing distress signal. The whole cave starts shaking like crazy. Boom! A gigantic, roaring fire salamander blasts into reality right next to it. Jayhun? Absolutely terrified. And it gets worse. The beast instantly unleashes a literal tidal wave of pure fire straight at him. He and his summons scatter, scrambling for cover. Jayhun is sweating bullets. Dodging a massive area attack inside a tiny, enclosed cave is an absolute nightmare. If he doesn't end this quickly, he'll be totally roasted. He has to finish this fast. But luckily, our boy brought his secret weapon. He triggers the Helmet of Madness, stacks it with bone armor, and drops his trump card. The Black Orc Skull, a crazy expensive artifact, gets directly fused into one of his skeletons. These buffs stack perfectly, spawning an insanely overpowered skeleton knight. Without missing a beat, he orders his brand new heavy hitter to rush the flaming beast. Slash. Faster than you can blink, the knight swings, completely one-shotting the salamander and its annoying little slime buddy instantly. The hype is real. Jayhun is absolutely grinning, loving this incredibly strong new ally. But right as the dust settles, roar. A whole pack of salamanders swarms the cave, rushing straight for him. But Jayhun doesn't even flinch. Why panic when you have an absolute unit on your side? He just casually points, ordering his knight to attack. Absolute carnage. The knight just shreds through the entire mob like they're made of paper. And ping. The system flashes that sweet victory screen. The rest of his undead squad literally look in awe. But Jayhun's brain is already spinning. This upgrade just put the game on easy mode. Think about it. With this powerhouse leading the charge, he could literally just sit back, eat some popcorn, and let his summon do all the heavy lifting. Even better, those flaming salamander essences he looted turned out to be worth an absolutely massive amount of gold. Oh, the potential is terrifying. Once he grinds enough materials, he's totally going to give this massive upgrade to every single skeleton. A personal army of destruction. Next up, time to press forward, go deeper, and absolutely wreck the boss. Next stop, Perung Forest. But Jayhun's excitement crashed fast. An instant dungeon portal suddenly blocked his path. And right then, reality hit him. Things were going way too smoothly. Classic trap. Step inside, and boom, door locks. No escape until the boss falls. You literally can't predict what's waiting. Panic started creeping in. Die here? 2 whole days locked out of the game. A totally fatal setback. His rivals would absolutely crush him, but John looked around. No other path forward. So, yeah, time to bite the bullet and jump right into the portal. Crossing his fingers, he stepped into the unknown. A few tense minutes passed before, ding, the system flashed a massive warning. Welcome to the throne room. Giant knight statues lined the walls. Creepy, abandoned temple vibes everywhere. But get this, every single statue was covered in brutal slash marks. Jayhun froze. Total shock. There, chilling on the throne, an enemy just waiting for him. Boss fight? Oh, definitely. No question about it. He screamed at his skeletons to shield up. But bam, in literally 2 seconds flat, every single one turned to dust. John was absolutely rattled. This wasn't supposed to happen. Then it clicked. He knew this monster from his past life. A spirit knight, programmed with the absolute highest tier battle AI in Warlord. In his first life, John fought this exact same beast at this power level. Only difference? He had an entire massive guild backing him, and they still got completely massacred. Total wipe. But this time around, yeah, repeating that nightmare is just not an option. So, he flares his magic, hyping up his remaining squad. All out, right now. John orders. But the boss isn't just standing there. Swish. It instantly slaughters another low-tier skeleton. Brutal, that's the signal. Kid gloves off. John and his elite warrior skeleton charge straight at the absolute unit of a boss. A tiny skeleton actually manages a sneaky back attack. Direct hit. But the damage? Zero. Literally didn't even scratch the guy. Pull back. Now, John screams. Way too late. The boss just casually swats the minion, blasting it head-on into oblivion. Wait, that backstab was a critical hit. And the boss just ignored it? Instead, its auto-defense triggers, blasting a shockwave that knocks everyone away. Basic summons are completely useless here. John is officially stuck. But right in the middle of this total disaster, a memory hits him. His old mentor once asked him why he'd fight something 4 times his level. John's answer? Honestly, he had zero clue. If I don't win, I miss dinner. That was his logic. His old master's jaw literally hit the floor back then. Back to reality. John smirks. He's never been the big brain, tactical genius guy. Not in his past life. Not now. Pure gut instinct. That's always been his style anyway. No crits? Fine. I'll just spam attacks until it dies. Logic out the window, John goes completely berserk, throwing everything into one desperate barrage. But the boss vanishes. It's too fast, bringing its massive blade down on John. Game over, right? Nope. John grins. You're honestly not that fast, buddy. Boom. His warrior skeleton perfectly blindsides the boss. One surgical strike to the wrist, and the monster's weapon goes flying. Jayhun's eyes light up. An opening. Keep this insane pressure going, win the fight, and dinner is officially saved. Meanwhile, at Sura Canyon, Chev looks around, totally impressed by the booming local economy. Yell just smirks. Guild perks, obviously. They lock down the supply chains, keeping the whole zone running like a well-oiled machine. Chev nods. Think we set up enough bait to finally catch this ha-ho mask guy? Yell rolls his eyes. Total obsession. He really doesn't get the hype around some random dude farming trash mobs. But Chev gets serious. Sure, low level for pros like us. But ha-ho, the guy fights things way beyond his pay grade and somehow survives. Only 2 types of gamers do that. Complete psychos or absolute gaming gods. Ha-ho, he's both. Chev is completely fanboying right now. Anyway, back to our boy John. The boss is disarmed. Right? Wrong. It literally shapes a new arm out of pure fire. John just groans. Great. Phase 2 is always a headache. But backing down? Never. John and his skeleton rush back into the meat grinder. The boss swings that blazing fist. K.A. boom. A terrifying explosion absolutely shreds the throne room floor to pieces. John dives away from the flames. Okay, yeah, reckless rushing isn't going to cut it anymore. Time for finesse. Finding a gap, John darts in, slash. Direct hit. His skeleton buddy follows up with a nasty combo. Pure tag team perfection. John's pumped. The Unga Bunga strategy is actually working. Just maintain the rhythm, and the win is his. But, big surprise, the blazing boss is about to absolutely lose its mind. Absolutely furious. The boss drops another massive area attack. Boom. An even bigger explosion rocks the arena. And John? He instantly realizes this guy just leveled up. But get this, the attacks are getting way more lethal. The monster completely flips its combat style, adapting to our boy's moves in real time. Just insane. Playing it safe? Not an option anymore. John knows he has to end this. Right here. Right now. He orders his summon to push the offensive. Hard. But out of nowhere, bam. A surprise attack catches John completely off guard, launching him straight across the arena, face down in the dirt. The truth hits him. He was so hyper-focused on micromanaging his skeletons, he totally forgot to protect himself. A total rookie mistake, and it just made him an incredibly easy target. The final blow comes down, but wait, his skeleton intercepts it, taking that devastating hit right to the face. John's jaw drops. A sacrifice play? He definitely didn't see that coming, loyal to the absolute end. His summon just bought him a crucial second chance, and John isn't about to waste it. Seeing red, Jayhun springs up and unleashes an absolute barrage of bombs. Direct hits, but somehow, this absolute tank is still standing. Time for Plan B. John dives straight back into close quarters combat. He just needs to hold out a little bit longer. More bombs, more explosions. Still not enough. He literally has to push past his limits right now. But the boss counters, charging straight at Jayhun with terrifying speed, looking to finish this fight once and for all. Here's the thing about spirit monsters, pure magic barely scratches them. And John? He knew that from the very beginning. That's exactly why he packed his bombs with bone fragments from his fallen skeletons. Smart, right? Then, his aura explodes. He activates his ultimate skill, Maximum Skeleton Summon. Checkmate. June knows it's over. Nowhere to run. Nowhere to hide this time. One flawless strike. A dead center hit. The system instantly pings with that sweet victory sound, followed by the ultimate reward, a level up notification. Just for a second, his mind flashes back, remembering his old party. How they totally threw him under the bus when they lost to the Spirit Knight. But look at him now. He's got a squad that literally takes a hit for him, no questions asked. Yeah, they're literally just bones. But these skeletons? Way more loyal than any human he's played with. This second chance at life hits so completely different. Our boy takes a breather, genuinely thanking his undead crew. But wait, the boss is dead. So, where's the exit portal? His guard goes right back up. Another boss phase? But then, something shiny catches John's eye. A hidden door. A randomly generated reward room just spawned. John instantly bolts toward it. Talk about insanely good luck. The hype is real right now. Epic tier loot for dropping that nightmare boss, right? Nope. He gets a dusty old book. Really? Taking a closer look, it's a research log on ancient powers. Not terrible, honestly. Except, he already read this exact book in his past life. Every single page, completely memorized, making this drop totally useless for him. Give the guy some gold or a shiny sword instead. But hold up. Something else is glowing right underneath it. What do we have here? Cut to a bit later. John is standing right in the middle of Perong Forest. He grinded enough levels. Time to jump back into the main storyline. And it's not just Jayhun who got a power boost. His entire skeleton crew is looking terrifying right now. A massive upgrade across the board. The hype energy from his summons? Absolutely off the charts. And honestly, Jayhun totally gets it. Because that glowing item in the reward room? A completely broken, game-changing skill. It actually lets him equip his own gear onto his summons, meaning his undead squad can scale endlessly. Of course, the catch? It completely drained his wallet. Jayhun literally blew a fortune, buying all this high-tier armor. An investment for the future, right? He looks at his decked-out squad and smirks. You guys better make this count. Just then, a group of random players rolls up. They start clapping, calling him by his gaming tag HaHo Mask, saying he completely lives up to the crazy rumors. And then they drop this cringe line. We live for romance. We die for romance. We are the outlaw romantics, the R2 family. Jayhun just stares. Seriously? The absolute weirdos you meet in this game. It's getting totally out of hand, not gonna lie. Moments exactly like this make him want to hit the logout button and go touch some grass. He ignores them and keeps walking. But these guys, they literally tail him, whining, "Hey man, slow down. You walk too fast." They keep begging him to match their pace. Finally, Jayhun snaps, glaring right at them. Back off. Just leave me alone. But they just won't take a hint. They demand an answer about joining their guild, explaining how they're grinding to hit level 100 just to survive this forest. The problem? The mobs around here are absolutely destroying them. Way above their pay grade, which is exactly why they're desperately headhunting overpowered players. They literally whine, "Come on, why won't HaHo Mask just join us?" They keep pushing and pushing, saying only a total beast like him can protect their so-called guild's romance. Yeah, pure cringe. Fast forward a few minutes. Jayhun, he finally decides to settle things. With his fists, absolute wipeout. He drops them all, telling them flat out he is never joining. and their romance roleplay means absolutely zero to him. A final warning before he walks away. He's a solo player, and if they dare stalk him again, he won't be nearly this nice next time. After Jayhun walked away, total despair, those players saw him as their absolute last hope against the Toon Guild. You know, the same rivals who literally trapped them in a tree for being weirdos. But hold on, one of the players drops a bombshell. The mighty Toon Guild is actually begging for help now. Meanwhile, our boy Jayhun is busy with a brand new problem, a massive, towering ogre. But hey, he isn't fighting solo. His summon squad is right there. They charge in together, and boom, one single strike, that monster is completely wiped off the map. He is on a whole different level now. I mean, Jayhun has already slaughtered over 50 of these exact same ogres. Beating that spirit knight changed everything. Normal mobs are basically a joke to him now. But Jayhun isn't complaining, he's leveling up insanely fast. Right in the middle of this slaughter, he suddenly remembers a specific quest. Track down armored monsters deep in the forest. The problem? Zero luck finding them, and absolutely zero progress on the main storyline. Jayhun knows the clock is ticking. Other top guilds are already grinding that main quest, and they could beat it any second now. To get ahead, he needs leverage. So, he figures, maybe next time players try to jump him, he'll actually interrogate them before beating them senseless. But honestly, Jayhun would literally rather log off and quit than team up with those absolute clowns from the R2 guild. Then bam, a massive explosion shakes the ground. Jayhun pauses. What kind of insane monster could cause that much chaos? A smirk hits his face. Jackpot. He can totally use this. Just a short distance away, those R2 guild members are fighting for their absolute lives, ambushed by a massive swarm of armored ogres. And yeah, they are completely panicking. No clue how to survive this. These absolute beasts are just way out of their league. Plus, that armor, practically indestructible. It's an absolute nightmare scenario for them. But look past the front line, there's an even bigger boss ogre calling the shots. A monster smart enough to command troops? Unheard of. Even still, their leader desperately orders a coordinated attack. Instantly, the squad throws up a massive firewall just to slow the brutal advance. But his teammates are absolutely terrified. They're shielding the battered Toon Guild, and honestly, they won't last much longer. Their team concludes the smartest move is retreating, while the R2 guild can still fight. The leader completely agrees with that logic. He remembers begging the Toon Guild for backup once. They completely ditched them, literally called them weirdos, and walked away. Despite everything, the leader still decides to help. So, he orders his crew to burn every last drop of mana, blow open an escape route, and evacuate the Toon Guild. Why? Because they know exactly how crushing it feels to be completely abandoned. Because of that pain, he absolutely refuses to leave anyone behind. Yes, even their worst rivals. He barks one final order: get the Toon members to safety. He'll stay behind and hold the line himself. He charges straight forward, screaming that nobody gets past him today. He swings wildly at a monster, just trying to buy enough time for his squad to escape safely. But then crash. An enemy lands a brutal head-on hit, instantly proving he's completely outmatched here. Looking death right in the face, he accepts the bitter truth. He can't win this. But right when all hope seems lost, enter Jayhun. He drops in out of nowhere, immediately calling the guy an absolute idiot. But let's be real, Jayhun makes it crystal clear he's not playing hero. He warns the leader not to misunderstand, and absolutely forbids him from stealing his monster kills. Taking total control, our boy unleashes his skeleton squad immediately. His undead squad absolutely swarms those armored ogres. Watching this chaos, the R2 leader's jaw drops. Can summons really move like that? He instantly realizes Jayhun is no basic necromancer. His skills are just completely off the charts, making everyone wonder who this mysterious powerhouse really is. But Jayhun isn't here for small talk. He lets his skeleton crew handle the trash mobs, wiping out the ogre squad in seconds. Now, it's just him versus the big boss. Jayhun literally smirks at the monster. Don't cry over your army, buddy. You're joining them right now. But before throwing hands, he commands his skeleton crew to drag the other players out of the way. Taking the bait, the massive boss charges. Its eyes lock onto our protagonist, radiating pure hatred for its slaughtered army. From the sidelines, the R2 leader doubts Jayhun can survive this overpowered monster. Then, a Toon Guild member drops a terrifying detail. Look at its red and black eyes. That means it's corrupted, a direct link to the impossible main quest. Corrupted monsters are literally 3 times stronger than your average boss. So yeah, even with Jayhun's crazy reputation for slaying giants, this guy is fully convinced our hero is about to die. Jayhun strikes first, and immediately, he feels that insane armor density, way tougher than the minions. Watching this clash, the audience is absolutely paralyzed with fear for him. A beast like this could literally one-shot him into oblivion. That Toon player screams at Jayhun to run, swearing he has zero chance. But our boy? He defies all logic. He charges straight ahead, practically daring this corrupted nightmare to stop him. Then, with one perfectly precise strike, one clean strike, Haho's blade sliced right through that thick armor like it was absolutely nothing. The giant beast hit the dirt hard, leaving every single player there completely speechless at the masked player's terrifying power. Behind that mask, John just shrugged it off. Honestly, that was barely even a warm-up. Time to head back to Maong for the main quest, right? Well, hold on. Before taking off, John had to figure out who was getting all this sweet, sweet loot. Because let's be real, he definitely wasn't the first guy to show up to this raid. We're talking 20 heavily armored ogres here. Rare monsters, people. Their drops alone could easily make a player filthy rich. Standard game rules. First hit calls the shots on loot. But Jayhun knew the truth. He practically soloed this entire massive fight. Not gonna lie, he started thinking maybe he should have just let the other guys die off before stepping in to clean up the mess. Then he remembered the R2 captain's speech. Since they got ditched before, they refused to abandon anyone else. That hit him right in the feels. He'd never say it out loud, but that's exactly why he jumped in to save them. Cue the instant regret. While he was busy second-guessing his life choices, the R2 leader walked right up, genuinely thanking him for keeping them alive. But wait. Suddenly, the captain blocked his path, saying he couldn't let our guy leave just yet. Obviously, John figured they wanted the gear. I mean, come on, what else actually matters in an MMO, right? Plot twist. They literally just wanted a screenshot. A quick photo to prove they actually survived a raid alongside the legendary masked player. When the loot discussion finally started, someone asked the Ton Guild if they wanted a cut. One guy instantly jumped at the chance, eyeing that massive payday. Nope, shut down immediately. The R2 leader wasn't having it. He completely refused to steal drops from the exact guy who just rescued them. Just like that, the noble captain convinced everyone else to let our masked hero walk away with absolutely all of the treasure. Jaws on the floor. John couldn't even process it, thinking to himself, okay, these players are actually insane. Fast forward a bit. As he kept moving, that whole crazy interaction with the guild just wouldn't leave his head. Sure, they acted like complete amateurs, but honestly, teaming up with absolute goofballs like them sounded weirdly enjoyable. Hard pass, though. Getting distracted means failing his ultimate goal, taking down all 30 of the absolute strongest guilds in the entire game. That kind of war? Too dangerous for innocent bystanders. So yeah, rolling solo with his undead skeleton army was perfectly fine with him. Meanwhile, across the map, a massive bear drops. Zil casually secured the final strike, totally flexing her elite skills. Her teammate, the princess, ran over with a massive smile. Absolutely flawless. As usual, she cheered. But that hype didn't last long, because their mage stepped right up and ruined the vibe. Huge news dropping. The Triple Wing and Big Smile guilds had just officially declared all-out war on each other. We are talking about two of the absolute top-tier factions here. All because two of their members started throwing hands over a messy boss raid. Since that day, both sides burned through crazy amounts of resources to crush each other. But spoiler alert, Big Smile was getting absolutely wrecked. Sil? She thought fighting during a major questline was completely brain-dead. But secretly, she was totally praying they'd destroy each other, one less competitor to deal with. But hold on to your hats, because the wizard wasn't done talking yet. Our masked hero? He just took down the armored boss and pulled ahead in the storyline. Everyone braced for Sil to explode, but weirdly enough, she actually smirked. No screaming, no raging. She just calmly told everyone to pick up the pace before they got completely left in the dust. Boss mode activated. She immediately commanded her squad to trigger Meng's next mission, absolutely refusing to let her guild miss out on Chapter 2. Cut back over to Bangu Castle. The old NPC, Ahimri, dramatically sighed, saying it had been way too long since his favorite student stopped by. John just stood there blinking. Like, what was this guy even doing here? Well, the old man claimed he brought a super special delivery. Boom, he pulled out the legendary secret order ring, proclaiming our boy was finally worthy. But John's reaction? Pure, unadulterated annoyance. Honestly, his day was going absolutely amazing right up until this old dude crashed the party. Let's rewind a bit to when he actually got the guild invite. Meng had pitched the idea, but dropped a massive warning label. Joining this hidden faction literally meant you had to be ready to die for them. Naturally, our guy played the hero role perfectly, swearing he'd gladly risk it all to crush the forces of darkness. Yeah, right. Internally, his brain was just calculating all those juicy, exclusive perks and stat boosts he was about to unlock. Falling for the act, Mong officially recruited him. John was practically drooling over that ring until the NPC told him to go see his old mentor. Instant nightmare fuel. Plot twist number 2. Turns out, that grumpy old wizard was also secretly a high-ranking member, which meant getting the emblem directly from him. And trust me, John would rather face a boss barehanded than deal with that guy. He already knew the old man wouldn't make it easy. Cut to right now. The wizard practically forced him to beg, fully expecting a fight over it. John just let out an incredibly heavy sigh. It's literally always like this. But hey, gear is gear. So, he swallowed his pride and basically groveled on the floor just to officially get that sweet membership rank. Wizard Ahimri literally fights back a laugh. But hey, he finally accepts Jayhun into the order. The catch? A crazy mission to push his limits. Boom. Straight to the front lines of an absolute bloodbath. Jayhun, completely blindsided by this sudden drop. Fast forward a bit, our boy touches down, and yeah, it's pure, unfiltered chaos everywhere. Jayhun knows this spot well. It's notorious for infinite monster swarms flooding right over those walls. Those endless waves? They make this raid an absolute death trap. But wait for it. Every single kill equals crazy loot. We're talking massive payouts here. Plus, it's literally the ultimate leveling ground. In his past life, he begged to come here. But his old guild was totally terrified, holding him back completely. Now, zero dead weight holding him back. He is absolutely hyped for this first raid. First up, prep time. But get this. A female tracker has been stalking the Haho masks every single step. She smirks. Target acquired. Meanwhile, in a totally different area, an absolutely brutal punishment is going down. They literally unleashed a massive tiger on these guys. They're begging, but Apollo, their ruthless guild leader, is just seeing red. His men completely blew the mission to hunt down the player who aggressively attacked them. Apollo is absolutely losing his mind with rage, screaming, demanding to know why they failed so hard. One terrified guy explains the Thunder Hunters stepped in. Fighting heavy hitters like that? Basically a fast death sentence. He drops another bomb. Those top-tier hunters are actually trying to recruit this insane rookie. Apollo scoffs, thinks the rookie is just acting cocky because a top 30 guild has his back. But oh, Apollo's plotting something. He immediately calls Heavy Bean a Smile Guild officer. Apollo wants a massive favor right now. He wants the Haho mask absolutely crushed. Heavy Bean's like, what's your actual problem with this random kid? Apollo just snaps. The mask guy beat up his entire crew and didn't even drop a basic apology. Basically, Apollo's massive ego got totally crushed. He wants blood. But Heavy Bean thinks this is incredibly pathetic. Total rejection. His guild isn't going to clean up some petty, low-level ego trip today. Left with absolutely nothing, Apollo pulls the ultimate card. He's cutting their funding. Right now, his cash literally dragged them into the top 30 rankings. If they won't back him up when things get messy, he is done paying these ungrateful players. Game over. Furious, but completely trapped, Heavy Bean realizes he has absolutely no choice but to fold right here. He grinds his teeth. Fine, he'll teach the mask guy a harsh lesson and report back when finished. But the second that angry call drops, the guy goes into absolute panic mode. Rejecting Apollo kills their bank account. Attacking a rising star kills his reputation. Lose-lose situation. He is totally screwed here. Right in the middle of his breakdown, someone steps up. It's Cho Woo Rang, a reserve player. She actually volunteers to go take the mask guy out herself. Lightbulb moment. She's off the official roster. The perfect ghost for this exact dirty work. He asks if she's capable. She's totally dead serious. She owes him her life, and wiping this guy out, that is her ultimate payback. Back to our main guy. He's right at the danger zone. Guards start screaming for everyone to line up at the gate. Dozens of players instantly gear up. Then, a major non-player character steps right up. Captain Bagel, the wall boss. He barks at everyone to brace themselves. Jayhun, actually shocked this hellhole has an administrator. Bagel drops the rules. Outside is pure slaughter. And those gates? Locked tight for 144 hours straight. Your final payout depends purely on your kill count. High risk, absolutely insane reward system. No escaping until that timer hits 0. Then, he drops the real hype, a hidden quest. The target? A mutant called the Blue Giant. The drop? A literally priceless unique skill book. Unbelievable. Jayhun's eyes just light up. A book like that? It is absolute account-boosting gold. He only heard absolute rumors about this thing in his past life. Now, it is right there waiting, but looking around, it suddenly hits him. Every single player here is drooling over that exact prize. The greed is completely real. Everyone wants it. And yeah, they will absolutely player kill to take the win. But here's the thing. They all know the mask guy is the apex predator here. The real raid boss? It's totally him. The gates smash open, and boom, Jayhun launches like an absolute rocket, going full throttle for first place. Everyone else? Just left choking on his dust. Pure dominance. But right in the middle of this total chaos, Cho Wurong steps up. Someone immediately scoffs, calling her a complete rookie. Like, why even listen to her, right? The guy literally tells her to back off and stop getting in everyone else's way. Big mistake. Cho instantly drops the loudmouth, effortlessly showing off her insane strength. Then she just casually tells the rest to chill out. Here is her pitch. She couldn't care less about the skill book. Her only target? Haho Mask. Help her crush him, and the book is yours. A total win-win situation. Sounds like a sweet deal, honestly. But guess what? Jayhun is watching this entire little meeting unfold. He instantly realizes these guys are teaming up just to hunt him down. Now, he definitely isn't scared of losing to them, but Jayhun really just wanted zero drama today. Too bad. Looks like he has absolutely no choice but to crash their party. Meanwhile, Cho feels incredibly confident. With her new squad, she seriously doubts Haho Mask can beat these numbers. In her mind, victory was already guaranteed. Plus, she is already daydreaming. Taking him down means her mentor finally respects her, scoring her an official spot in the infamous Big Grin Guild. And once she is in, she is getting her own minions. They would do whatever she wanted. She would finally be a true boss. Power, status, literally everything she ever wanted. But suddenly, one of her new teammates snaps her out of it. She was so busy daydreaming about guild life, she completely missed the monster wave incoming. Snapping back to reality, Cho violently orders everyone into attack formation. But wait, her teammate points out something terrifying. The monster swarm is way bigger than normal. Cho freezes. He is right, their defense is gonna break, and right in the middle of this absolute mess, she spots Haho Mask. Jayhun decided to get a little creative here. He pulled total aggro from the monsters, then just trained them right into his enemies. Cho's jaw literally drops. This absolutely insane mob training strategy completely wrecks her entire plan. The group gets absolutely shredded. Panic sets in instantly as players watch their own teammates drop like flies. Her squad is cracking. They tell Cho they are done for, screaming to retreat before this massive monster wave wipes them out completely. Cho is seething. Her perfect ambush plan? Completely trashed. She tried to set a clever trap for Haho, but walked right into his instead. Still, she holds her ground. She yells that once the aggro fades, these beasts will finally calm down. She orders her crumbling squad to just survive as long as they physically can. And while they do that, she is going straight for Haho Mask herself, letting her weak teammates act as monster bait while she handles the real threat. Classic villain move. Boom! Cho dashes directly at Jayhun. She strikes instantly, aggressively pushing our main character completely away from the main group. Getting up in his face, she demands a one-on-one duel. But Jayhun just smirks. He is not playing her game that easily. Knowing she is the ringleader trying to kill him, he casually asks if she even knows who she is messing with right now. Honestly, Jayhun has zero clue who she is. It is super weird. Why is some random stranger trying so desperately to take his head off? Cho bites her lip. She absolutely cannot leak her ties to the Big Grin Guild, so she lies. She claims she just wants his rare skill book. But our boy? Yeah, he is not buying that garbage at all. Swinging back, Jayhun calls her bluff immediately. He can read her face like a book. She couldn't care less about some rare skill book. Cho stays dead silent. No confirmation, no denial. She just keeps attacking, desperately trying not to let his trash talk get to her. Meanwhile, Jayhun realizes something. Her attacks? Actually pretty solid. He might actually have to tap into his necromancer abilities for this one. He tosses a bone bomb, but boom, she dodges it with crazy reflexes. Jayhun knows someone this strong isn't a nobody. He directly asks what guild she represents. Cho absolutely refuses to talk, telling Haho she will satisfy his curiosity through pain instead. Then, she literally materializes high-tier battle gear straight out of her inventory. Jayhun watches her equip this heavy armor. Okay, she is going all out, but he realizes killing her here means all her secrets die with her. Still, looking at her power level, He absolutely cannot afford to hold back anymore. It is time to get serious. Cho straight up tells Jayhun she won't show mercy. But wait. Suddenly, she notices his undead skeletons just standing there, watching. Jayhun tells her to relax. He literally commanded his undead summons to sit back and not interfere in this fight. Cho is super confused. Why hold back? She asks. Our main character just shrugs. She wanted a one-on-one duel, right? So yeah, jumping her with a skeleton army wouldn't exactly be a fair fight. Hearing this, Cho smirks. She thought Haho Mask was some calculating monster, but he is actually playing fair. That naive honor is a massive weakness she can exploit. Without hesitation, she launches a brutally fierce strike at Jayhun. But honestly, he completely blocks it, feeling zero difference from her last attacks. But then a blur of motion, terrifyingly fast, she slips right behind him, catching him completely off guard. Jayhun didn't see that coming at all. And Cho? Oh, she is just warming up. She unleashes a crazy combo, landing massive damage on our boy. Watching our guy drop, Cho smirks. He's kind of cute, honestly. But playtime's over. Nobody defies Heavy Bean and lives. Well, that was her plan, anyway. Plot twist. Jayhun isn't fighting alone. Out of nowhere, his skeleton summon crashes the party, sweeping Cho completely off her feet. She's completely stunned. Like, total system error in her brain. Then Jayhun drops the bomb. Cho, big grin guild, right? Boom. He got exactly what he wanted, rendering her entirely useless now. Cut to a few minutes later. He's got her tied to a tree, demanding answers. Why is her guild secretly hunting him? Cho just laughs right in his face. Yeah, right. My lips are sealed completely shut. Nice try. Jayhun casually name-drops her full identity, Cho Wong, Heavy Bean's loyal subordinate. She plays dumb, acting like she has no clue what he means. He hits back. He knows everything. Cho is baffled. How? Well, thanks to his past life. He knows she becomes Heavy Bean's legendary right hand. Obviously, he keeps that regression secret. He just glares right back. Look around. You don't get to ask questions here. Start talking. Why is your guild targeting me? Cho swears she doesn't know, then stubbornly demands our masked protagonist just kill her already. Jayhun just scoffs. Kill her? What a massive waste of time. Besides, this is the system she'd literally just respawn in 2 days anyway. With the assassin dealt with, our main character shifts his focus. It is officially time to hunt down that blue giant boss. But before he walks off, he drops a cold warning. Stay out of my way. Next time, I won't be nearly this nice. And that's when it finally hits her. This masked guy was playing chess while she was playing checkers. He literally stole her exact playbook, luring monsters to set up a perfect ambush. Fear, respect, maybe something else? She's left wondering who this absolute monster really is. In her twisted mind, she thinks tying her up was him flirting. And honestly, it's making her feel entirely new, weirdly exciting things. Fast forward. Cho reports back to her boss, admitting the brutal truth she completely failed to assassinate the masked rookie. Heavy Bean tries playing it cool, telling her to just go rest up. But the second he hangs up, pure, unadulterated panic sets in. His absolute best assassin just got completely played by a total newbie. He tries breathing. At least the guildmaster, Apollo, doesn't know yet, right? Wrong. In classic horrible timing, his phone immediately rings. It's Apollo, and Apollo is absolutely livid. A top 30 guild getting completely humiliated by some random rookie player? Completely unforgivable. Word spreading would absolutely destroy their untouchable guild reputation overnight. That was the absolute last thing Heavy Bean needed to hear. Now, his panic transforms into pure, boiling rage directed straight at our masked protagonist. Speaking of our guy, he gets a sudden chill down his spine, like someone's intensely trash-talking him, but he has zero clue why. Taking out, Cho gave him decent intel, but honestly, he wanted more answers. Problem was, the clock was quickly ticking down. First priority, reaching that blue giant boss before anyone else. So, he and his undead crew sprint into action. Sometime later, we see him absolutely exhausted. That giant boss fight, it honestly pushed him right to his absolute limits. Catching his breath after that bloodbath, he realizes he completely underestimated the boss. That thing was a totally different beast than he initially remembered. Still, gotta love the other players. They were too busy killing each other, leaving the massive boss loot entirely for him to claim. But Cho's little ambush was still seriously bothering him. At least her failure confirmed that the Big Smile Guild was officially hunting him down. But why target him now? Back in his previous life, The top 30 guilds only launched a massive joint attack because his personal guild grew fast, threatening their absolute dominance over everything. And leading that massive witch hunt back then? None other than Chai Siolan alongside his elite Thunder Hunters guild. Which logically makes him wonder, is Chai secretly pulling the exact same strings in this timeline? Something was definitely off behind the scenes. And not knowing the full puzzle, it was driving him absolutely crazy inside. Whatever. His current life philosophy is simple: crush whoever stands in the way. Checking the system, he still had 138 hours of raid time left, time to grind and make some serious cash. Fast forward to the raid ending, and those massive gates finally swing completely open. Everyone trudges back to the starting zone. And let me tell you, they are absolutely miserable. Nobody got decent results. Worse still, the guys who tried fighting our masked protagonist are completely traumatized, deeply regretting the day they ever crossed his path. A bunch of them curse themselves for ever listening to Cho. Right in the middle of their whining, our boy casually steps up, completely unbothered. He's literally having the best day ever. Way too hyped to care about their pointless crying. He's arguably the single winner of this entire event, and because he thrives on pure chaos, he literally taunts them. Did you guys seriously come back broke? Not a single penny? Oh, they are furious. But he just laughs it off. Hey, you tried jumping me. That's what we call instant karma. Watching from the shadows? Cho. And she's whispering to herself that round 2 is going to go very, very differently. Because get this, she's completely head over heels for him now. The urge to kill him? Gone. Even she thinks she's fully losing her mind. Right on cue, the NPC Bagel announces the raid's MVP. The order? He wants the necromancer, Herkin, in his office. Right now, our boy Jayhun? Absolutely over the moon. Inside the office, Bagel gives him massive props. Not only did he wipe out the most monsters, but he crushed that blue giant. The guy insists on giving him a proper reward. Bagel also drops some lore weird monsters have been swarming lately, completely messing up the local squad's operations. His theory? They're all coming from the Ice Mountain. And get this, he's actually planning a full expedition up there really soon. But Jayhun? He's completely zoning out. He already knows this lore. He just wants his loot. The second Bagel brings up the reward, though, complete attitude change, finally. The exact moment our boy has been waiting for. But hold up. Before handing over the skill book, Bagel mentions a letter from her Khan's master. Turns out, the master wants his apprentice up in the Urgel Mountains. Jayhun already knows those mountains are absolutely packed with high-tier monsters, so getting picked? Totally expected. All this chatting just annoys him, though. Catching on, Bagel finally reveals the promised loot. Bagel laughs, saying he'd normally tell people to be careful with a book like this, but not him. Jayhun is buzzing. What kind of insane power is he getting? He activates the item, practically praying for a god-tier skill. And what does he actually get? Something called clay creation. Meanwhile, in another area, Sil is absolutely fuming. Hatch tries to cool her down, telling her not to sweat the small stuff. But yeah, she's definitely not listening. She absolutely snaps, blasting the surrounding landscape into pieces with pure fury. She's screaming about some random nobodies who literally swooped in and stole their main quest boss right from under her guild's nose. She wants names, right now. Hatch shakes his head. They aren't from the top 30 guilds, and since they dodged the trackers, they must be low tier. Still seeing red, Sil orders her mage to slap a massive bounty on their heads. She wants the area totally cleared when that boss spawns again. Identity unknown or not, nobody steals her prize. She swears to wipe them all out. Meanwhile, cut to the thieves. One nervous player asks if their stunt was too reckless. He admits that snatching a boss from the Thunder Hunters was borderline suicidal, a miracle they even survived. His partner shrugs it off. There was literally no other choice. The Thunder Hunters were moving way faster than they expected. The nervous guy suggests just wiping out the competition next time, but his partner immediately shuts that down. That would expose them completely. Their leader steps up, backing up that exact logic. He announces their true mission to completely rebalance this entire game from the shadows. And the big reveal? He's Singlet, boss of the Workers' Guild. Richard, the nervous guy, nods and agrees to the plan. Miquel, another member, chimes in too, staying totally loyal to her guild's massive vision. Weaver, another key player in their squad, is completely on board too. But then, Momo speaks up. She points out that the player Hi-Ho Mask is blazing through the main quest way faster than them, directly blaming Singlet. Singlet snaps back. Their main priority is stopping those top 30 guilds first. He promises they'll deal with Hi-Ho Mask once the big guys are crushed. Miquel cuts the tension, telling everyone to drop the arguing and focus on the next mission. Everyone nods. Time to move out. Meanwhile, back with Jayhun, he just realized something insane. His new clay skill actually lets him shapeshift his golem. He is absolutely hyped. His imagination goes wild, riding on the back of a massive dragon, or maybe summoning literal titans for battle. The potential here? Completely off the charts. Time to test it out. He grabs that blue giant's tooth from earlier and directly fuses it with the clay creation magic. The golem starts shifting. He practically holds his breath, expecting an absolute beast to appear. But when the smoke clears, utter disappointment. Instead of some massive titan, he summoned a tiny little gnome. Then, the system chimes in. Level limit reached. He is furious. He starts cursing out the game developers, realizing all the actual cool stuff is totally locked behind crazy high-level requirements. Fast forward a bit, our boy finally heads back to Urgel village. He's literally kicking himself for getting so hyped. I mean, he remembers his past life. Pulling off god-tier summons like that was basically impossible back then, too. So why did he think it'd be easy now? Whatever. He knows he'll hit those high levels eventually, even if the grind is slow. Right now, though, eyes on the prize, the main quest. He suddenly remembers a legendary blacksmith named Wolf from his past timeline. This guy isn't just some random shopkeeper. He's part of a secret order and easily the most famous NPC crafter around. Absolutely notorious for forging broken, epic tier gear. And even better, you literally cannot meet him outside of this specific main quest, which is why Jayhun missed him before. Now, he's definitely planning to score an overpowered weapon. But when he finally steps into the forge, it's totally empty. He looks around, super confused. Where's the legendary crafter? And then, out of nowhere, bam! The blacksmith just blindsides him with a massive hit, launching him straight through the air. Jayhun hits the ground, completely dazed, wondering what on earth just happened. Wait, this is an NPC safe zone. Getting attacked here? Completely unheard of. The blacksmith just smirks, weapon raised. Is that all you've got, adventurer? Wolf shakes his head, totally disappointed. He grumbles about how today's rookies are absolutely pathetic compared to the legendary monsters from his era. Our guy stares at him, totally baffled. Are you Wolf the blacksmith? The man nods. That's me. Furious, he snaps back. Then why the hell did you just attack me? Just a little test for the order's new recruits, Wolf says casually. Oh, he is annoyed now. Seriously? What kind of crazy initiation is that? But then ding, a system reward pops up, just for meeting the guy. Right then, it clicks. This isn't your average NPC. We're talking hidden potential. Wolf keeps running his mouth, though, calling our rookie not just super weak, but seriously lacking in the patience department. But watch this. His attitude totally flips. He literally grabs onto the blacksmith like a lifeline. I'll take absolutely whatever quests you've got. Wolf is completely creeped out now. He tries to physically shake him off, yelling, "Hey, back up, get off me." He literally boots our boy out of the shop. But before slamming the door, he tosses him a delivery quest for the Bahrain forest. And our MC? Not embarrassed at all. Pride? Throw it out the window. If it means milking this hidden NPC for sweet system rewards, he is absolutely all in. He checks his interface. New quest acquired. The objective? Haul a special package all the way to the locals living deep in the Bahrain forest. Here's the catch, though. That territory? Pure elf country. And elves absolutely despise humans, staying hidden so deep in the woods you can barely track them. Before he regressed, there were actual maps pointing straight to their hidden villages. But right now, he's flying completely blind. No map means no easy way out. He's going to have to get creative and dig up some alternate routes to find these guys. Meanwhile, the crowd goes wild. A famous player just showed up, Pitbull Singh, a literal top 100 ranker. Everyone is whispering, why is a monster like him here? Then the rumor starts spreading. Is he hunting down the Haho mask? Our boy remembers this guy well. They actually fought in his past life. And yeah, the guy was an absolute tank. He barely scraped by with a win back then, and it was a brutally close match. But here's the problem. Back then, he was totally maxed out. Right now, fighting a high-tier beast like Pitbull is a massive gamble. Plus, Pitbull didn't get that name for nothing. He completely destroys his opponents. The crowd is already betting Haho Mask is dead meat. Oh, he hears all of this, and his blood boils. He steps up, absolutely furious. Underdog or not, he refuses to let anyone look down on him. Right as the tension peaks, someone steps forward. They mention they heard Haho Mask is paying good money for intel on the Bahrain forest. Pitbull locks eyes with him. The big guy smirks and says, I'll give you every single detail I know about that place. Wait, what? He is totally thrown off. Since when does Pitbull know about the elf territory? Suspicious, he asks what the giant wants in exchange. Get ready for this. Instead of a death threat, Pitbull drops a bomb. He looks him dead in the eye and says, I want to confess my love. Complete silence. His brain short circuits. The entire crowd literally gasps, staring at them like they just grew a second head. The ruthless Pitbull sing. In love? It's the most insane thing they've ever heard. Fast forward a bit, and our MC is still panicking over the madness. He's pacing around, absolutely losing his mind. He blames the big guy entirely, complaining that after dropping that romantic nuke in public, the whole city turned into an absolute mob. The crowd chased them straight into the woods, and in the sheer panic, they got totally separated. Our boy is sweating, rehearsing his rejection. Look man, I'm not into dudes. But Pitbull just waves his massive hands. Whoa, huge misunderstanding. He wasn't hitting on Haho Mask. The giant ranker blushes and explains. A few months back, he was hunting nearby when he saw this super weird rabbit. And a second later, the rabbit's owner stepped out of the trees, desperately looking for her runaway pet. Time literally stopped for the guy. Pitbull looked at her, and bam, Cupid's arrow. To him, she was the most gorgeous girl on the planet. But the second she saw his terrifying face, she grabbed her bunny and bolted, left him standing there heartbroken. They haven't crossed paths since. The guy waited for days, but nothing. Desperate and totally love-struck, he started interrogating every NPC he could find, hunting for any clue about the elves. But every single lead? Complete garbage. Just when he was about to give up entirely, he caught a rumor floating around the city. Someone else was digging for elf secrets. Boom, instant team-up. Pitbull practically dragged Haho into an alliance. Our boy? He was quietly fuming. Like, why couldn't the big idiot just say that from the start instead of sounding like a creep? Honestly, this whole emotional roller coaster left him exhausted, but he had to finish this quest. No matter how annoying this massive sidekick was, Pitbull was currently his one and only ticket to the elf hideout. Pinching the bridge of his nose, he lets out a massive sigh. Fine, just take me to where you saw your dream girl. They trek deep into the woods until they hit this incredible, massive waterfall. According to Pitbull's notes, Bong Waterfall was a major hotspot for elf activity. He even mapped out other locations like the giant ancient oak tree or the absolute edges of the nearest town. The guy did his homework. Our MC narrows his eyes, scanning the area. Any monsters lurking around here? Pitbull gets totally serious. Yeah, and we're talking boss level huge. You gotta stay on extremely high alert, he warns. But our boy just cracks his knuckles. Perfect. Time to bash some monster skulls and see who comes running. Right on cue, the water explodes. A gigantic, terrifying serpent rears its ugly head. Pitbull instantly draws his weapon, but our MC throws out an arm, holding him back. I'm taking this giant snake down solo, he declares. Pitbull looks at him like he's crazy. Are you insane? That thing's level is way too high, even for a ranker. A completely impossible fight? Our guy just grinned. I know, but I am Ho, the masked one. Classic confidence, zero hesitation. Jayhun rushed straight at the monster. Bam! The snake struck first, launching our boy completely into the air. Pitbull completely freaked out. Jayhun, you good? But watch this. Our guy slowly stood up, literally forcing tears into his eyes. The agony. I'm dying. Pitbull, absolutely speechless, just staring at him in pure confusion. Dude, what are you doing? While Jayhun played the victim, that massive snake pulled back ready for the kill. Dodge, man, you're gonna die, Pitbull screamed. But Jayhun didn't move an inch. Suddenly whoosh, an arrow nailed the snake dead center. A brutal barrage of arrows followed. Pitbull's jaw dropped. It finally clicked. Jayhun smirked. See? Regular NPCs don't fight monsters. They run in terror. So when residents get hunted, the elves show up to protect them. Everything made sense now. The helpless victim routine? Pure acting. Jayhun just shrugged. Hey, I could have been wrong, you know. His crazy gamble worked perfectly. The insane prediction was absolutely spot on. Time to talk. He confidently introduced himself as Herkhan, sent directly by Wolf the blacksmith. He added he carried an important delivery, asking for a village invite. Not happening. One elf snapped. You totally manipulated us. Her companion absolutely didn't hold back either. This right here is why elves despise humans. You are disgusting, incredibly selfish creatures. Ouch, they scoffed. Zero chance Lord Wolf trusted a scammer like him. And fighting them? Absolute game over for Jayhun. The quest would fail instantly. So, what now? Then, out of absolutely nowhere, bam! Pitbull dropped to his knees. I'm sorry, we lied, he begged. But I was desperate. I just had to see your leader. Wait. What? Get this. Pitbull actually confessed he saw her in the woods recently and fell completely head over heels in love. Now, that fate brought them together? He just wanted one chance to know her. Jayhun was mentally facepalming so hard. Elves already despise humans. Hitting on one? Yeah, that definitely wouldn't improve their situation at all. But wait, the elf just smiled. She basically said she couldn't blame him, knowing exactly how gorgeous she really was. Celine was her name. And just like that, she invited her new fanboy to the village. Quest suddenly complete. Just, wow. Jayhun was totally speechless. This game's logic? Completely unhinged. On the way there, he finally asked how this actually worked. Pitbull sighed happily. I could die in peace right now. Jayhun glared. Dude, we almost died to the elves. But just because she bought his act, this guy was melting into an absolute puddle over some pretty, narcissistic girl. Jayhun gave him a harsh reality check. He knew a stunning girl who was completely unhinged. Never trust a pretty face, he warned. Pitbull shook his head seriously. It's not just about her looks, man. He had deeper reasons. To him, elves were the ultimate symbol of fantasy. But definitely not in the weird way Jayhun was thinking. He explained it simply. Growing up, every single game, every comic, elves were the absolute heart of the fantasy genre. Traveling magical worlds alongside an elf companion? That was his childhood dream. That's why he loved them so much. Jayhun just stared blankly. Okay, but what does any of that have to do with you dropping and confessing? Aren't you playing to live your dreams too? Pitbull asked. Jayhun scoffed hard. My dreams aren't some childish fairy tale. The brutal truth? He wanted absolute power. To become the strongest warlord player and completely destroy anyone in his way. Just thinking about that kind of dominance made him smirk. But Pitbull pushed back. Doesn't that make you exactly like them? I couldn't care less. Jayhun snapped back cold. This world is simple. The strong eat the weak. End of story. Zero chance he'd be prey. He's the hunter. Pitbull frowned. By your own logic, if you get crushed, you can't complain. Honestly, he just couldn't understand how Jayhun found any real happiness in brutally trampling over other players' lives. Wham! Jayhun clocked him in the face. Absolutely furious. You know literally nothing about me, he yelled. Dreams? Happiness? Those are total luxuries. Things only people who already have something can actually afford. Jayhun? He had to claw and bleed every single day just to survive. And he knew exactly how losing everything felt. Look, I get what you're trying to do, Jayhun growled darkly. But save the moral lecture. I definitely don't need it. Before things exploded, an elf interrupted the heavy tension. We finally arrived, she announced, cutting the fight short. Celine gestured forward. Welcome to the legendary sanctuary Baheim village. She pointed to the massive center tree, the elder's spot. Jayhun didn't hesitate, marching straight toward it. Once gone, Celine questioned Pitbull. Pitbull didn't answer immediately. Meanwhile, Jayhun was finally led straight to the legendary elven elder. Celine quickly explained that Jayhun was here on Lord Wolf's direct orders. Jayhun took a breath. He almost lost it back there, almost ruined absolutely everything. But right now, total focus on the mission. And right on cue, the elven elder steps up. Name is Dara. And the guy instantly suspects Jayhun is working with that secret order. Jayhun just nods, handing over the blacksmith's package to the old elf. Dara tears open the package. And man, Jayhun's eyes go wide. He recognizes it instantly. Absolute game changer. An epic item that wipes out all negative status affects the Bracelet of Purification. Makes sense why Wolf kept this hidden until delivery. But hold up. The truth just hit Jayhun like a ton of bricks. His next job? Purify that corrupted elf, and finally expose exactly who is pulling the strings behind this second main quest. He thought this artifact was his reward. Nope. Dara straight up tells him to get lost. Jayhun glares. Seriously? That is all you have got for me? Dara shrugs. Nothing else for you. And then? The elf literally calls him weak. Absolute disrespect. Reality check. Just like last time, his level is way too low for this main quest. Jayhun snaps back. Watch me. I will return when I am stronger. Cut to outside the village. Jayhun is just completely wrecking monsters, absolutely seething. Literally nothing is going his way today. And the worst part? The Thunder Hunters are miles ahead on the main quest. They just crushed the ogre, meaning they are already deep in the Urgel Mountains. Jayhun is furious with himself. In his mind, he should easily be level 100 by now. Instead, he is falling behind and missing out. But honestly, that is not what is really boiling his blood right now. It is Pitbull's words. They are eating him alive. Jayhun flat out refuses to accept his past life's tragedy was just destiny. No way. Need an outlet? Destroy everything in sight. And just to make it harder, Jayhun actually drops his sword. Time to smash these monsters completely barehanded. He is so incredibly done with all this nonsense. It is finally time to crush this problem once and for all. Meanwhile, Pitbull is venting to Celine about the drama. He totally admits it, he overreacted and crossed a massive line. Celine just looks at him. Why not apologize to Jayhun? Sure, swallowing his pride sounds rough, but she tells him to step up, because hey, real friends are honest. Cut back to Jayhun. An enemy launches a lethal sneak attack, but bam, Pitbull crashes in and completely blocks the strike. Pitbull blocks it, yelling, I am here to apologize. Talk about some absolutely perfect comedic timing, right? With the beast dead, Pitbull awkwardly admits he has been feeling awful. Jayhun glares back. Want to fight? Do it now. I am so not in the mood. But Pitbull just stares him dead in the eyes and gives a genuine, completely sincere apology. And, just like that, Jayhun completely drops his attitude. Pitbull swears he was just worried, not trying to lecture him on how to live. Honestly, Jayhun is completely caught off guard here. Jayhun smirks. Feeling guilty? Then help me grind. Still, Pitbull seriously wants to know if they are actually cool now. Jayhun's response? They are grinding until they pass out, no escapes allowed. Pitbull sweats, asking, wait, apologies cost labor now? Jayhun chuckles. Nah, that is just his weird, gamer way of saying, yeah man, apology fully accepted. Mid-chat, another monster jumps them. But this time, perfect teamwork. They sync up and absolutely demolish the beast in seconds. Then they just start wiping the floor with the entire mob. Flash, flash. Huge waves of experience points and massive level-ups shower down. After an insane grinding session, Jayhun finally hits level 100. 3 straight days with 0 sleep for this exact milestone. He is literally running on fumes now. Pitbull looks like a zombie. He groans, begging to log out and rest. Jayhun smirks, knowing that at this new tier, he can completely steamroll the main quest without breaking a sweat. Real talk? Solo grinding would have taken ages. So, right before his buddy logs out, Jayhun awkwardly rubs his neck and genuinely says, thanks for the carry. Pitbull just laughs. Dude, stop acting so shy. We are literally grown men. Seeing you get flustered is just painful. And boom, Pitbull logs out, leaving a very annoyed Jayhun standing there alone. Jayhun scowls at the sudden exit, but whatever. No time to sleep anyway. Instead of logging off, he rushes straight back to Dara's place. Dara takes one look at his new power level and officially hands over the bracelet to find the kid. But Jayhun? Totally zoning out. His eyes are just glued to the loot. He finally secures that epic elven bracelet. Hyped about his new gear, Jayhun puffs out his chest. Trust me, I got this. Meanwhile, his inner gamer is definitely planning to keep this broken item forever. Plot twist. The elf straight up admits he has absolutely no clue where to send Jayhun. Dara sighs. If he actually knew the location, he would have handled it himself. So Jayhun's very first task? Literally hunt down the quest location before even starting. Jayhun desperately begs for just one tiny hint before heading out. But nope, completely useless. The elf gives him absolutely nothing. Stepping out of the forest, Jayhun groans. How do you find one corrupted elf on this insanely huge map? He actually thought hitting a high tier would fix everything. Nope, brand new headaches just keep spawning. Now, back to square one. He has to trade for intel again. Only this time, he cannot just wander around asking dumb questions like a complete noob. If he leaks this, absolute chaos. Everyone would be out for his head. But get this, he's holding a massive secret. Jayhun has this crazy theory. What if that corrupted elf isn't just surviving, but actually building a literal monster army? If he's right, massive monster waves will drop near the elf. So his big brain play? Just buy monster spawn data. Players will eagerly sell that info, totally clueless about the real prize. Connect the dots, follow the monster trails, and boom, finding that corrupted elf becomes a walk in the park. He's pumped. Finally, a solid lead. But then, a random guy steps out of the shadows, offering exactly that intel. Panic mode activated. This isn't some lucky break. Standing right in front of him is the legendary Shev the Slayer. Earlier at Red Buffalo headquarters, Their guild leader, Yell, revealed they got an anonymous leak about the elf before. And guess what? That same snitch just messaged them again. Yell was super confused. Why would this mysterious informant suddenly throw cash at random, low-level monster spawn data? Made zero sense. But Chev, he saw right through it. He figured the snitch was using useless monster stats as a massive smokescreen to hide the real target. The actual truth? They didn't care about monsters. They wanted the jackpot. Yell bought the theory instantly. They decided to keep it strictly classified, and Chev was totally on board. Chev made a promise he was going to hunt down this golden goose himself. Cut back to reality, Jayhun is absolutely sweating bullets. Our boy threw out bait hoping to catch some random small guild rookie. Instead, he hooked a literal apex predator. Jayhun immediately tries to bail, but Chev coldly growls, "Don't even think about trying to run." Oh snap. Jayhun realizes he needs a massive brain play. He instantly summons his skeleton squad to encircle Chev. The Slayer just smirks. Smart. A threat. Not an attack. And yeah, Jayhun knew it. Winning a fight here? Literally impossible. Chev just laughs. "Listen, ha-ho, you're way too sharp to be some random beginner, and I know you're holding on to some high-tier secrets." Chev's eyes narrowed. "So, who the hell are you really?" Ha-ho. Jayhun stays totally silent. Chev looks confused. Then, Jayhun flips the script, screaming loudly like an absolutely terrified newbie. "Help. Some insane red buffalo guy is threatening me." He whines that he just wants monster clips for his channel, zero interest in fighting top tiers. Chev just stares at him, totally not buying this Oscar-worthy performance. Jayhun begs for his virtual life, acting super pathetic. Chev sighs, dropping the killer intent. "Right. Looks like I made a mistake. Honestly, ha-ho, you don't look anything like the genius mastermind who's been leaking secrets to my guild." Inside, Jayhun is doing backflips. The bluff actually worked. But then Chev casually drops a bomb. Shame. That informant is getting a 5 billion gold bonus. Not just that we're talking a full-time contract with absolutely insane VIP perks. Since that's clearly not you, I guess our hunt continues. Jayhun's jaw drops. Without missing a beat, he instantly shouts that joining Red Buffalo is his absolute lifelong dream. Come on, 5 billion? That's an astronomical payout, even for a top-ranking guild. He calls Chev out, saying threatening people and then bribing them is a total red flag. But internally, Jayhun is drooling. Holy crap, with that kind of money, I'd literally be set for life. Chev smirks, reeling him back in. "So, ha-ho, how about it? Want to join the squad?" He flat out promises the exact same 5 billion contract if he signs right now. Jayhun acts hesitant, claiming this crazy offer feels way too sketchy and sudden. But Chev's playful tone vanishes. "Think carefully before you answer. If you're not my teammate, ha-ho, you're an enemy. And enemies? I crush them right here." The tension spikes. But Jayhun holds his ground, declaring he's not accepting yet. His excuse? He refuses to be carried. He wants to level up using his own skills. He's playing the ultimate proud gamer card, swearing to reach the top entirely solo, even if it gets him killed. Then he drops a massive flex. "When I hit max power, Red Buffalo will be the first guild I destroy." Chev just steps back, totally amused. "Man, the view up here is fantastic." He randomly points towards Red Lake. "Listen up. We just confirmed a massive, exponential monster spawn happening right over there." Jayhun is baffled. Why share top-tier intel with a future enemy? Chev literally laughs in his face. "Please, I don't consider a mere kid a threat. My guild is an absolute powerhouse. We don't bow to anyone, especially not some arrogant solo player." He claims it's a freebie because he respects Jayhun's gutsy playstyle. But he warns him, "Don't let this little favor go to your head." With that mic drop, Chev announces he's leaving. But wait, before he walks off, Jayhun tosses out his own hint. "Keep your eyes locked on Salt Mountain." He brilliantly deduces their strategy. If they're avoiding the tricky elf zones, Red Buffalo must be grinding the main quest through the Dwarven territory line instead. Meaning, their closest hotspot has to be Salt Mountain. But Jayhun smirks, telling Chev not to overthink his little tip too much. Internally, our boy is feeling extremely petty. Nobody calls him a brat, especially since he's literally been grinding this game longer than anyone. Hearing that comeback, Chev completely loses it. He bursts into loud laughter, realizing this rookie constantly loves playing the fool. Jayhun just bristles and walks away. Meanwhile, Chev smiles his first recruitment mission. A total failure. Looks like his target would literally rather die than join up. Chev actually considered forcing it, but honestly, Chev wanted to see how far Heiho could climb solo. Taking one step back now, for a massive leap later, fine by him. Yell, on the other hand, absolutely furious. By the time Shev got back, his ears were literally ringing from the yelling. Jayhun knew he was a genius. He just really wished his skeleton summons had even half of his brain cells. Super annoyed, Jayhun yelled at his skeletons to stop goofing off in the water. Seriously, it gave him massive flashbacks to his lazy old guildmates. Back then, while Jayhun was sweating blood killing monsters, his teammates? Just splashing around, totally distracted by the shiny water. They actually called him a game addict for trying. Man, this whole situation felt way too familiar. Whatever. Jayhun quickly ordered his skeletons into formation. He already knew they weren't alone. He spotted them immediately. A warrior, 2 mages, and a priest sneaking up. Classic ambush setup. So, Jayhun told his bony squad to get ready. One signal, and it's all-out war. He just needed the perfect opening. But plot twist, they didn't attack at all. Instead, they ran straight up to Heiho, dropped to their knees, and started literally begging. What did they want? Help taking down the corrupted Grey Rooster. Our boy Jayhun was skeptical. Why not hunt it yourselves? They swore they were from the Golden Brothers Guild's 2nd Division. Jayhun scoffed internally. That guild barely made the top 30. And their 2nd Division? Yeah, basically bottom of the barrel. Cut to the chase, Jayhun demanded. One guy broke down, crying that if they failed this mission, they were getting kicked out completely. Jayhun flat out said no. And oh man, did they panic. They were desperate now, promising him everything, all their loot, even cold hard cash. So Jayhun naturally asked, how much? The leader offered 20,000 total. To Jayhun, that was absolute pocket change. Pathetic. They even offered to give up the boss drop. They just needed his muscle, no matter the cost. Jayhun thought about it. He needed to clear these corrupted monsters anyway, right? So he countered, give me the 20,000, plus all the loot. They instantly agreed, bowing and thanking him like crazy. But honestly, something felt super sketchy here, and Jayhun hadn't quite connected the dots just yet. Flashback time. Before all this fake crying, these guys were actually breaking their backs in a mine to pay off massive debts. They were literally just debt slaves working for the Apollo Guild. If you couldn't pay Apollo back, straight to the mines. No exceptions. But the guildmaster had actually offered these desperate losers one final lifeline. The catch? They had to assassinate Heiho, the masked player. Do that, and they'd walk away debt-free. But even they knew that was a literal suicide mission. Apollo didn't care. He gave them high-tier gear and said use any dirty trick in the book. Just kill Heiho. That was the only way out. Fail? They'd be rotting in those mines forever. Back to reality. Their master plan was super simple. Let the boss monster distract Heiho, then violently stab him in the back. But seeing this massive beast up close? Yeah, total panic mode. I mean, this corrupted rooster was level 120. Completely out of their league. Jayhun stepped up. I'll smash the monster's armor off. You guys finish it. Boom. He activated his muscle enhancement skill. Blinding speed kicked in as he charged headfirst. The scammers just stared, totally shocked he'd risk close combat. The thing is, this rooster was a deadly ranged attacker. But our guy, Jayhun, not an idiot, he knew exactly how this dance worked. Dodge, counter. He slipped past everything easily. Wow, this bird is slower than I remember. He wasn't just defending. With his maxed speed, he unleashed combos the monster couldn't dodge. Total domination. In seconds, Jayhun literally shredded the boss's heavy armor to pieces. Those fake teammates? Jaws on the floor. Jayhun didn't even sweat. Just the helmet left. Then we're putting this bird in the dirt. Right then the signal. The leader yelled, and their mage blasted a massive fireball straight at him. Jayhun narrowed his eyes, and then, boom, direct hit. Keep firing, the leader screamed. Another spell locked on, triggering a massive, blinding explosion. They spammed attacks over and over, leveling the whole area, until they felt completely sure. Watching Heiho disappear in the flames, they cheered like crazy. Freedom at last. But the celebration died instantly. A voice echoed from the smoke. He knew they were fakes. Their tragic underdog story? Completely ruined by the fact they wore insanely expensive, top-tier gear. Plus, what kind of party makes a squishy necromancer tank the front line? Jayhun saw this ambush coming from a mile away. So yeah, he wrecked the boss and casually sidestepped every single one of their pathetic spells. Now, the games were over. Jayhun glared at them. He didn't care who sent them play stupid games, win incredibly painful prizes. It was punishment time. Begging for mercy? Oh, those ambushers were desperate. But guess what? Even that massive rooster was practically glaring at them, hungry for absolute revenge. John just smirked. You guys have zero leverage left. It is game over. But right in the middle of this mess, red alert. Jayhun's system blared a corrupted elf spawned. She locked eyes with him, then boom vanished into thin air. His system immediately flashed a warning. Less than 3 minutes to capture this target. He seriously hated leaving, but he barked orders at the ambushers. Keep that monster totally distracted. His undead army stayed behind as guards. And his final warning? Run away, and your punishment will be 100 times worse. This was at the ultimate jackpot. John knew catching this elusive elf was totally within his grasp. Just a matter of time. Nailing this? Huge points. It would lock his #1 spot on the quest leaderboards. Less than 60 seconds left. Jayhun sprinted forward. But wait. Something felt wrong. He activated every speed buff possible, and still could not even touch her. Out of options, Jayhun just chucked skeleton bombs like a madman. Massive explosions everywhere. But this elf? She just danced right through the blasts. He cursed under his breath. Seriously? When are these quests ever easy? Clock ticking down. Failure? Not happening. He threw one last desperate explosive. She dodged it flawlessly, but then, John flashed this absolutely wicked smile. Gotcha, he muttered. That bomb was not aiming for you. I just needed the blast to launch me. Riding that massive shockwave, John completely closed the gap. But the second he grabbed her, she coughed up literal blood right into his face, sending both of them crashing hard into the dirt. John just stared at her. Did you bite your own tongue? She grinned like a total psycho and nodded. Cue absolute panic from Jayhun. She could not die yet. Her death meant instant quest failure. Scrambling frantically, Jayhun shoved the ring of purification onto her hand, praying to the heavens it would wipe away her corruption. A tense few seconds passed. Then, the elf silently handed him a mysterious slip of paper. Hey, his crazy plan actually worked. She faded away completely, but that sweet system notification chimed right on cue. Quest entirely cleared. Definitely not the ending he imagined, but a win is a win. Still, one super annoying thought kept bugging him. Why even have a timer if she was just going to bounce? Annoyed, John cursed the developers for the millionth time. Meanwhile, his prisoners were getting absolutely wrecked by that giant bird. Then Jayhun drops in with his golem and completely obliterates the monster in one shot. They started cheering wildly. Hey-ho is back. So incredibly grateful to him. Did that stop him from ruthlessly beating them all down anyway? Nope, not a chance. Spitting out teeth, they confessed the Apollo Guild forced them into this assassination mission. Jayhun realized right then Apollo was crossing every single line to take him out. And get this. Apollo geared these thugs up with high-tier equipment that even top-ranking guilds could not easily afford. Add that to the Grin Guild player he fought earlier. The math was simple. Both mega guilds had teamed up just to put his head on a spike. Oh, Jayhun was not taking this disrespect lying down. He snapped his fingers. Get up, strip off all your gear, and hand it over. Oh, it gets better. He demanded 1 million gold a week in protection money. These guys realized Hey-Ho was way more terrifying than Apollo. Meanwhile, over at Grin Guild headquarters, their boss, Heavy Bean, chilled to classical music, thinking these quiet moments were his only joy. Until bam, the doors flew open. His underling rushed in screaming in absolute panic. The Red Buffalo Guild just declared all-out war on them. Heavy Bean jumped up, demanding why. Turns out, they were blamed for attacking the infamous Hey-Ho mask. Bean had zero clue Hey-Ho was even connected to the Red Buffaloes. He waved it off as a massive misunderstanding. Figured he could just talk it out with their boss. No big deal. But then came the real bombshell. The priceless gear they loaned to Apollo, currently listed on the auction house, and the seller priced them astronomically high, making buying them back totally impossible. Absolutely stunned, Heavy Bean choked out. Who is the seller? His guy gulped. It is Hey-Ho mask. Cue the ultimate meltdown. Bean started screaming every single curse word in existence at Hey-Ho. Fast forward, back in Bahim Forest. That elf demanded John hand back the purification ring. Straight up said he despised trusting humans. Walking away, John rolled his eyes. Like, how petty can you get? But hey, at least he secured the next piece of the quest line. The mission? Find a hidden spot marked on that elf's map. But staring at the letter, John groaned. It was a cryptic riddle. Why do fantasy elves always write so poetically? Just give me the coordinates. Man, completely stuck. He had to swallow his pride and call an expert. So, Jayhun arranged a meetup with the guy known as Pitbull, but checking him out, John noticed Pitbull had charmed multiple beautiful elves since last time. Absolutely boiling with jealousy, Jayhun secretly prayed for his absolute downfall. Next, One elf literally hand-fed Sing. The jealousy was insane, especially when another girl bragged about being his absolute favorite. Sing? Yeah, he totally played innocent. Claimed he just loved all elves equally. Typical. Jayhun was absolutely seething. Like, why was Pitbull suddenly drowning in elf girls? Pitbull just shrugged, said it happened completely naturally. His excuse? If he wanted to survive in this village, he had to be a fan favorite. So the guy was basically playing the ultimate crowd pleaser. That's when it clicked for John. This was definitely a quest. But the second John stepped up, the elves went full bodyguard mode. Sing had to step in. No need for violence here, ladies. Plus, Sing bragged that nobody could actually lay a finger on him anyway. John was beyond furious. Here he is fighting for his life, while this guy plays dating sim. Anyway, Sing finally dropped the act. What exactly did Jayhun want today? John just slapped the document down. Translate this. Now, boom. Sing nailed it instantly. The poem pointed straight to the blue mist forest. Jayhun was completely stunned. Sing broke it down. Eagles standing guard. Blue clouds everywhere. Honestly, there was literally only one spot on the entire map like that. And then, Sing had the nerve to tell Jayhun to stop slacking off and read a book. Intel secured. But Jayhun? Oh, he was still mad, absolutely destroying a random tree outside. Elves are supposed to hate humans, right? Not form fan clubs. Even his skeletons tried patting his back. Being single isn't that bad. Jealous? John? Not a chance. He aggressively claimed he could totally get his own fan club if he tried. Right on cue, a monster crashed the pity party. Level 110 Smogrian. Immediate ambush, but John dodged effortlessly. Seriously, why does every single random mob think he's easy prey? Looking around, he had to wonder, was this even the right zone? Only trash mobs so far. Wait. Pitbull mentioned the Sweepers Guild, top 30 rankers hung out around here. But Jayhun? Zero panic. Our boy came totally prepared for trouble. Still, 0 players in sight? Weird. Until out of nowhere, some random guy blocked his path, demanding to know who Jayhun worked for. Sweepers Guild, obviously. John played it cool, told the guy straight up he flew solo. No guild, no boss. Wrong answer. The guy immediately branded him an intruder. And just like that, the whole environment warped completely. Death sentence declared. Enter Avon title glowing right above him. Corrupted companion. Not good. Plot twist. This wasn't some random player. It was a main quest boss. John attacked instantly, but the guy's aura? Absolutely terrifying. And John's opening strikes? Did literally 0 damage. Time for backup. Skeleton Knight summoned, but smash. One gets dropped instantly. Before John could blink, his entire undead squad was completely wiped. Seeing his boys turn to dust? Oh, John was pissed. Speed boost activated. He slashed right in, direct hit. John smirked. Maybe this boss wasn't so tough after all. Big mistake. The nightmare was literally just getting started. Insane health regeneration. The wounds literally closed in seconds. Physical damage was completely useless here. John was sweating now. An enemy this broken? What kind of twisted game logic dumps an overpowered boss like this out of nowhere? Only one summon left. His skeleton mage. John desperately ordered it to hit him from afar. But before the spell even charged, boom, the monster completely vaporized the mage. Just gone. Reality check. Physical hits heal him. Magic gets dodged because this guy moves like absolute lightning. How do you even beat something that completely breaks the rules? Even with all his past life memories, John had never faced anything this insanely stacked. No holding back anymore. It was do or die. Jayhun slammed his hands down, summoning every single skeleton back, plus his massive golem for backup. Debuff time. Curse of Sloth and Spirit Corrosion fired simultaneously. This combo had to slow the freak down. Didn't matter. The boss just blitzed right through it all, shattering the skeletons back to dust. Unbelievable. Pure shock. But no time to panic. The boss was already in his face. It was throwing hands time. Summons were completely useless here. It all came down to his own skills now. Just him against a terrifying raid boss. One clean hit. That's all it would take to end this fight, and John knew it might just end him. Bam! A heavy kick launched John into the air. He barely managed to survive that. Now, he was completely enraged. Using that adrenaline, John resummoned his heavy golem. The plan? Pin this monster down for just 1 second so he could land the ultimate strike. But no, the boss simply shatters the hold, striking back. Massive damage taken. But wait, it was pure bait. At point-blank range, John pops his skill, instantly freezing the enemy solid. Skeleton mages respawn in a flash, charging up their most devastating magic. Trap perfectly set. Fire, he yelled. The next second, an absolutely earth-shattering explosion engulfed everything, nearly taking John out with it. Ding. Mission Elf's remembrance complete. But looking at this boss, John realizes these stats are absolutely broken. He chugs a health potion, trying to recover from that insane damage. Then, the unthinkable happens. Pure panic hits him. The boss is getting back up. And June knows, right in his gut, one more clash. And he's totally finished. If this fight continues, it's game over. Guaranteed. But wait. Instead of lunging, the monster bashes its own head. Jun just stands there, totally confused. Crack. The mask shatters completely. The guy inside actually begs June to kill him before the darkness takes over again. Turns out, this guy was a secret order member, just like our boy. But during a mission, he got completely swallowed by that dark corruption. Years of pure torture broke his mind. Since then, he's been nothing but a mindless beast, hunting anyone who stepped into his territory. He only joined the order to save people, man, not to slaughter them. Now, he just wants to die. He can't stand being an evil puppet anymore. Jun walks up to him, admitting this guy was literally the toughest boss he's ever faced, even without the monster buffs. As a regular human, the guy was an absolute powerhouse. Jun shakes his head. The real villains are the ones spreading this corruption. They're the real targets here. He even offers to use a purification circle to save him. The guy just smiles, thanking Jun for being so kind, but there's no going back. Before Jun can react, the guy throws himself right onto Jun's blade, fading into light. His last words are simple, he's leaving the rest to our protagonist. Ding! Mission legacy complete. The guy vanishes into thin air, leaving behind only his sword on the ground. Classic hidden quest setup, right? Still, Jun absolutely hated this bitter ending. Meanwhile, across the map, Sil gets some wild news. Why the hell is Ha-Ho Mask teaming up with the Red Buffaloes? She snaps, practically glaring a hole through the wall. Hatch just watches her sweat. His boss used to only care about scouting top-tier talent for the guild. But lately, Sil is completely, dangerously obsessed with Ha-Ho Mask. And honestly, Hatch has a really bad feeling about this. Boom. Out of nowhere, Singlet literally pops into the room, demanding a chat with Sil. Hatch is shook. He didn't even sense the guy's aura. How is he so fast? Sil, totally unbothered. Why should I listen to a complete stranger? Singlet steps right up to her, grinning. How about I erase Ha-Ho Mask from the picture for you? Sil just gives him this terrifying, ice-cold smile. Back to our boy. That tragic boss left behind his personal blade, right? Jun brings the weapon straight to Mong. Hearing about his old friend's dark fate, the NPC is absolutely crushed. Mong breaks down, hating that he couldn't save him, but he genuinely thanks Jun for finally putting his friend to rest. Heartbroken, the NPC tells Jun to keep the blade. At first, Jun feels super awkward about it. Wielding a sword with this much emotional baggage? Kinda heavy, right? But then, he checks the item description. His jaw drops. The stats are absolutely god tier. Yeah. Guilt gone in a second. Jun bows, hyping up his thanks to Maung for this OP gear. He literally hit the hidden quest lottery here. Walking outside, he silently sends a quick thanks to the fallen knight. With a blade this broken, weapon shopping is officially cancelled for a long time. Plus, all that gold he saved up, free to spend on other upgrades. But yeah, that happy moment lasted about 2 seconds. Right outside the hut, it's an ambush. Dozens of players jump him instantly, weapons drawn. Jun is just standing there, mind blown. Wait, my mask is off, Jun yells, dodging. How do you idiots even know it's me? Mid-dodge, his comms light up. It's Romani, and she sounds dead serious. Jun, there is a 100 million gold bounty on your head right now. Boom. Jun just freezes, brain completely short-circuiting. What is even happening? Flashback to the guild. Sil glares at Singlet. Why target Ha-Ho Mask? Singlet's smirk fades into this cold, calculating stare. He's a wild card. He treats this whole thing like chess. Sure, Ha-Ho might look like a basic pawn on the board, but he's jumping around like a queen piece, doing whatever he wants. Basically, this guy is totally wrecking the meta by ignoring all the rules. So, wiping him off the server is the only smart play. He brags that tons of massive guilds are already teaming up. If Sil's Thunder Hunters join in, it's a guaranteed kill. He just needs her to say yes. But Sil? Oh, she doesn't agree. Instead, she literally curb stomps him, pinning his face right into the floor. She leans down, spitting absolute venom. She knows he's working with those rats who stole her guild's boss monster. There's no universe where she teams up with cheap scavengers like him. Negotiations failed. Time for Plan B. Singlet's aura flares up, and with pure brute strength, he blasts Sil backwards across the room. Slipping right out of Sil's grip, Singlet bolted. He ran for his life. Hui wasn't having it. She wanted to chase him down immediately. But Sil? She totally called off the pursuit. Instead, she ordered her crew to contact the other major guilds. The truth hit her. Everyone wanted a piece of Haho, but this guild master wasn't sharing. She straight up declared anyone who touched her target would be completely wiped out. Her loyal right hand immediately broadcasted that deadly warning. Meanwhile, Singlet was still running, admitting his massive failure and bracing for the worst possible punishment. Even while fleeing, this guy actually asked if he should just kill Haho himself. His boss totally shut that down. Singlet's cover was blown anyway, and this mastermind had way better tricks hidden up his sleeve. Time to sit back and watch, because honestly, this shadowy boss felt completely in control. He couldn't wait to see how our boy Haho would survive this absolute nightmare. Speaking of our main guy, June realized a brutal truth. Beating these hunters? Pointless. They would just keep spawning. Rini completely agreed. June was basically a walking lottery ticket right now, and she desperately wanted to know who he ticked off. Honestly, June was absolutely clueless. He'd ruined a lot of plans lately, but his prime suspect? Definitely Chi-Yolan. Wait, no. That didn't fit her style at all. She'd crash the party herself, not hire fodder. With zero solid answers, Romani started stressing over his next move. She needed that sweet editing footage. Quitting this game was absolutely not an option for her, not like June would ever quit anyway. Instead, he pulled up the system shop, blowing his cash on a desperate survival item. More than anything, our protagonist needed a name. Who wanted him dead? He was going to find out. Bam. He summoned his golem straight into the chaos. The thing immediately started wrecking attackers. A few guys panicked, sure, but the rest? They laughed. Golems are supposed to be slow and totally harmless. Big mistake. They had absolutely no idea our boy dumped all his stats into clay crafting. And then, he straight up merged it with a wyvern skull. Yeah, you heard right. Jun literally mutated his golem into an absolute nightmare. June was honestly salty about skipping meals to afford this crazy upgrade. So naturally, these mob characters were going to pay the ultimate price. June showed off this terrifying wyvern golem with pure swagger. All right, he smirked. Who exactly wants to die first? Meanwhile, Romani was drowning in responsibilities. Video editor? Please. At this point, she was basically running his entire life behind the scenes, but she simply couldn't walk away. The epic raw footage Jun kept delivering was ridiculously good. After totally trashing those hitmen, Jun finally arranged a secret sit-down with Sil. He stood there, waiting until she eventually showed up. Sil immediately called him out. She'd been trying to meet him forever, and he just ghosted her. So what changed? Why now? June just stared right back at her, his eyes burning with absolute rage. He remembered his past life perfectly. Chi-Yolan was his worst nightmare back then. The very person who totally manipulated his own crew into betraying him. Everything inside Jun screamed for instant payback, but he held back. Instead, he demanded to know if Sil dropped that bounty on his head. Sil completely brushed it off. Was this seriously the only reason he showed up? But June wasn't letting it go. Who else would do it? He rejected her top-tier guild. He stole her spotlight. Of course, she was furious. He straight up accused her of crushing anyone who dared to stand in her way. Sil totally read his nervous energy though. She stayed perfectly calm, simply asking to explain herself. That calm tone? It triggered massive past life trauma. Chi-Yolan used to talk exactly like that. But Sil insisted some random, unknown player tried pitching a massive anti-Haho alliance. This absolute madman wanted the top 30 guilds to team up and crush him permanently. A chilling realization. This exact scenario happened right before his regression, but Sil wasn't having any of it. She firmly rejected the shady offer, totally refusing to play their dirty little game. Plus, those assassins messed with her own guild quests. She knew Haho wasn't the only target here. June did the math. Anyone crazy enough to provoke the Thunder Hunters had a massive death wish. He only knew one guy that insane. Sil just stared. Believe me now? About 50%, June fired back. Honestly, that was more than enough for him. At least he knew Chi-Yolan wasn't funding his assassination. But just as he turned to leave, Sil dropped the guild invitation right back onto the table. June rolled his eyes hard. Take a hint, he snapped. He was never, ever going to join her elite squad. Sil surprisingly softened up. She knew he couldn't stand her. Honestly, she was totally used to people hating her guts for absolutely no reason at all. But she wasn't just recruiting him anymore. She was warning him. You literally cannot survive alone when there is a 100 million gold target on your back. She was offering legit, top-tier protection, but it required his trust first. She promised, no strings attached, completely his call. Jun's answer? Ice cold. He would rather die than join the Thunder Hunters. Sil warned him to drop the ego, but Jayhun insisted he'd never join. His ultimate goal? Becoming Warlord's absolute strongest player, completely solo. He swore to never accept guild invites. At first, Sil just thought it was totally childish, but honestly, she just smiled. Sil told him to give it everything, wished him luck, and promised to be his ultimate rival. And Jayhun? He took that straight up as war, especially since she smiled while saying it. So, our boy hopped on his golem, leaving Chikalan behind. Taking a breather, Jayhun remembered something. In his past life, Chaolan was heavily hunted, meaning something massive happened before his regression. But priorities first. That mystery could wait until he figured out exactly who put that massive bounty on him. Right on cue, Romani called him up, aggressively demanding to know what insane stunt he pulled today. Get this, a new wanted poster dropped everywhere, absolutely skyrocketing the reward. Romani practically begged to know if he'd scored a mega-rich sponsor. Jayhun just sighed. No sponsor. Just a completely unhinged woman who wouldn't leave him alone. Meanwhile, over at Masandre Castle, things got ugly. A young kid was getting violently jumped. Thugs cornered him for a quest item. Their logic? The kid was too weak anyway, so let the big guys handle it. The boy snapped back he wasn't getting robbed again. Boom. Took a brutal kick. The bully laughed, saying he just needed physical persuasion. But right before the next hit, someone intervened. The thugs were stunned when Jayhun casually asked if the boy was Git, the quest guy. Git nodded, completely confused about the quest guy title. That's when it clicked for Jayhun. Way too early. This timeline event hadn't triggered in this life yet. Even so, Jayhun ordered the kid to follow. The main bully lost his mind, screaming at this random stranger for interfering. They charged him. Big mistake. Jayhun countered. Smash? He put the entire gang to sleep instantly. Git's jaw literally dropped. This random dude one-shot 3 players. Noticing the kid's absolute shock, Jayhun shrugged, claimed he was just a friendly good guy passing by to help. Still trembling from the ambush, the boy quickly thanked our overpowered protagonist for saving him. Honestly, he had basically given up. Without that last-second rescue, all his hard work would have been totally hijacked. Jayhun explained the targeted mission was a ruin exploration. Completing it, it instantly nullifies that massive blocking field behind them. Git was totally shocked. How did he know this? Instead of explaining his cheats, our guy straight up demands the quest, instantly making Git think he's just another terrifying bully. Flash forward. Jayhun hikes to the ruins, looking completely miserable. He's stuck bringing Git, and the kid keeps whining constantly. Finally snapping, Jayhun tells him to zip it, stop complaining, get stronger, and maybe people will stop treating you like loot. But Git bites back. It's completely hopeless. He's tried fighting back 100 times, always failing. The kid basically breaks down. He hates being dead weight, but everything he tries just leads to getting stomped on. He confessed that joining team raids was always a disaster because he'd just panic and mess everything up completely. Going solo? Even basic mobs deleted him, so he quit exploring entirely, grinding boring, low-level NPC fetch quests in the village instead. That insane grind finally triggered this hidden quest. For the very first time, this brutal game was actually rewarding his efforts. That's exactly why he fought those thugs tooth and nail. He only surrendered to Jayhun because he knew he'd instantly get deleted. Instead, he stubbornly convinced Jayhun to agree. Jayhun shoots back if Git refuses to change, he can stay pathetic forever. Either way, this dungeon is getting completely cleared. But then, he drops some tough wisdom. Just because you've been a punching bag doesn't mean you're locked into it forever. Git freezes, taking it in. Just an hour ago, he thought he'd die if he didn't surrender the quest. Now, Jayhun just marched ahead, leaving him behind. Git seriously debated logging out and ditching this crazy guy. But wait, bailing means the quest fails entirely. Plus, Jayhun would absolutely hunt him down for brutal revenge. Playing it safe, Git decides to hug the dungeon entrance. He'd wait right there until his scary new partner finished. Bad idea. A massive monster spawns right on top of him. Absolute nightmare fuel. Deep inside, Jayhun hears the echoing, terrified screams. Git came sprinting back, literally tackling him in absolute terror. Our guy tries peeling the kid off, basically exposing him to the boss. Sigh. He can't let Git die, so he fights, grumbling that this brat's screaming is worse than the monster. A little later, they finally lost the massive monsters. Jayhun glares, accusing him of aggroing it on purpose. Git violently shakes his head, apologizing frantically for attracting them. Our guy is absolutely livid. He tells Git to freeze. Right there. Don't move. I'll solo the boss and come back. Git is literally shaking. You're fighting the boss? Alone? He stammers. He knows this place all too well. It's the giant spider's lair, a notoriously brutal nightmare zone, and it gets worse. The path is crawling with little suicide bomber spiders that endlessly respawn on contact. The main boss? An absolute tank. Its shell is literally solid steel, meaning physical hits usually bounce right off. Jayhun just smirks. If it's that tough, come help then. He jokes sarcastically. Git immediately backs down. No way. He just wishes him luck. But Jayhun? He has zero stress. He'll just dodge the little guys, wreck the main boss. Easy. He sprints straight at the beast. And Git watches. Mind blown, our boy didn't trigger a single strand of web. The monster finally senses an intruder. But way too late. Boom. Jayhun lands the first strike. He instantly crushes one of its massive legs, making it perfectly clear this is just the warm-up. His game plan? Break the legs, then execute the body. Git just stares from the sidelines, absolutely speechless. Soloing a raid boss? If Jayhun keeps this up, he's actually going to win. But then, disaster. Git looks down. He stepped on a web. And, in this dungeon, that's an instant dinner bell for the hatchlings. Bam. A tiny spider instantly detonates right on him, acting like a giant flare that aggroes every single hatchling nearby. Git screams out in pure agony. He's trapped, completely swallowed up by a sea of creeping nightmares. A massive explosion violently rips through the cavern. But somehow, Jayhun yanks him out at the exact last second, calling him dead weight, obviously. Still shaking, the kid asks why he saved him. Jayhun completely loses it. Shut your mouth and run to the exit. He refuses to let this mission tank now. If you make me fail, he growls. I'm coming after you next. Paralyzed by pure terror, Git watches Jayhun get buried by the swarm instead of him. Sprinting away, the guilt hits him like a truck. Why is he so useless? Always dragging people down. Always running when things get real. And of course, he trips over a rock and face plants hard, making everything way worse. He just lies there, sobbing out of pure frustration. He desperately wants to fight, to do literally anything, but he's powerless. He's basically accepted his loser status. Lethal dungeons like this? Definitely not meant for weaklings. But right in the middle of his panic, Jayhun's words echo in his head. You've been dead weight until now, but you can change. The tears stop. A spark ignites. Meanwhile, back in the boss room, our main character is completely wrapped in a brutal web cocoon. But wait for it. Reap. Jayhun tears right through it. He literally let himself get caught just to absorb the blast and save the kid. Now free, he is totally ready to finish this. But with his summons gone, it's a pure solo run. Then footsteps. Git is back. Jayhun glares at him. Why are you here? I couldn't just leave you to fight alone. Git stammers, ready to back him up. Jayhun scoffs. He doesn't need a sidekick, and this was incredibly stupid. But Git stands firm. He's sick of running away. Today is the day he finally stops hiding and actually helps take down a boss. Jayhun is not having it. He reminds the kid he's already saved his neck twice today, and his patience is absolutely zero. Get out while you still can, he warns him. The last thing he needs is a crying liability ruining his boss raid. Still, the kid literally begs to stay. He knows he can make a difference. Talking a big game is one thing. His body violently shakes from terror, but he holds strong. For the first time ever, he is planting his feet. Grabbing his torch, he starts desperately burning the respawning spiders. Fast forward, he finally collapses, exhausted. Ding. The system notification hits dungeon cleared. But honestly, Git feels massive guilt taking any credit. Jayhun literally carried this entire raid. But hey, at least the kid finally did something useful. But that tiny victory? Gone in a second. Cut back to our main character. Right after executing the boss, those trash tier bandits from before suddenly show up, and they've got Git. They smirk, thanking Jayhun for clearing the whole dungeon for them. Jayhun doesn't even blink. Is this a negotiation? He asks coldly. The leader demands all the loot, or the kid gets it. And if I say no? Jayhun challenges. The bandit's eyes go dark, saying he'll end the kid right now, and then slaughter him next. Git immediately starts screaming. Don't do it. He knows Jayhun risked his life for those rewards and refuses to let him lose them now. Bam! The bandit punches the kid, laughing at how totally pathetic he still is. He sneers that a weakling like him has absolutely zero clue. So he needs to shut up. But get this, Git literally spits right in his face. Compared to those spiders, he grins. You guys are absolute garbage. Furious, the bandit violently lunges with his blade. But you already know it's time for our main character to finally snap. Jayhun makes it simple. They want the reward? Fine. But first, they gotta fight him and actually win. The gang leader just laughs it off. Calls him totally crazy. I mean, one guy taking on a whole squad? No way. But here's the catch. Our boy Jayhun, he is definitely not alone. While these guys were running their mouths and getting distracted, he was busy summoning his skeleton army right behind them. Perfect ambush. Suddenly, a bandit freezes up in pure panic. He realizes this isn't just some random player. It's the infamous Ha-Ho Mask, the only guy in the entire game using skeletons, and literally the only player capable of soloing a dungeon this insane. The leader starts sweating bullets. What on earth is a top-tier monster like him doing in a low-level zone? Jayhun's response, none of your business. And since he's holding all the cards, he's taking every single thing they own. Obviously, they didn't have a choice. Total wipeout. A few minutes later, he's looting watches right off their defeated bodies. Jayhun just sighs. Pure disappointment. They literally had absolute garbage. Meanwhile, Git is having a total existential crisis. He knew his teammate was good, but this is god-tier level. Still completely shocked, Git thanks Ha-Ho Mask for carrying him and saving his life more times than he can count, admitting he'd be absolute dead meat without Jayhun carrying him. Then he bows out gracefully, promising to get out of his hair and stop bothering him for good. But before he can run off, Jayhun stops him in his tracks, tells the kid to just keep the quest reward. Git immediately refuses, saying he didn't earn it at all. But Jayhun just looks at him. Are you going to keep playing Warlord? The kid literally bursts into tears, swearing he'll give the game his absolute all. Cut to later, Jayhun finally drops the mask, and man, getting back into his normal gear feels way better. He only wore the disguise to dodge those annoying bounty hunters. But since his cover got totally blown anyway, might as well drop it. Still, that mission was a massive win. He found Git the system's designated rare quest magnet. That kid is going to be incredibly useful later. Though looking at the crying mess, Jayhun seriously wonders if this guy will actually become the legendary questmaster from his past life. Whatever. The massive blockade field just vanished into thin air. It's finally time to move in. His target? The Cursed Territory. The exact starting point for Chapter 2 of Warlord's epic main quest. Over in Ricky City's main square, some random player rolls up, hyped to explore the brand new map territory. The barrier literally just dropped, but the place is already absolutely packed with players everywhere. His buddy, Nuppy, shuts down his hype fast, reminding him that every single person standing here is basically competition. Just look around. Ares Guild is here, Triple Wing 2. Both heavyweights from the top 30 rankings are already setting up. Even the Hydra Guild showed up in force, and they are absolute favorites to clear the main quest first. The secret is definitely out. Seeing all these massive powerhouses, our random guy completely loses hope. How can his tiny guild even compete with this insane lineup? Right in the middle of this panic, a voice cuts through the crowd. You're in my way. Move. Jaws drop. It's Ha-Ho Mask. Jayhun's popularity had absolutely exploded after everyone realized he completely destroyed that impossible blockade field. Honestly, even Jayhun was totally shocked to see this massive crowd waiting here. News travels way too fast in this game, and that means his competition just multiplied by 100. The whispers start instantly. Some bitter players swear he's getting secret help from the devs, calling his skills completely impossible. Jayhun just ignores the hate. Let them cry about it. He knows his power is pure skill, and everyone else is just wildly jealous. But then, someone calls him Chiolan's pet dog. Rumor has it the Thunder Queen threatened to slaughter anyone who touched him. On top of that, rumor says he's flirting with the Red Buffaloes. Absolute madness. So now people think massive guild leaders are literally fighting over him, wondering what he did to seduce the players who killed the corrupted count. Okay, that crossed the line. Jayhun snaps, grabbing one gossip. He is nobody's pet, and definitely not a lover. He demands names. Who the hell is spreading these insane rumors? But before punches get thrown, a pirate steps right in. It's Sarabo, a Secret Order NPC. He tells our boy to cool off. There's way too much at stake right now. Seeing the quest NPC appear, the crowd goes absolutely wild. Jayhun realizes this is the real deal and finally backs down. With everyone finally quiet, Sarabo steps up. He's got some massive lore to drop on them right now. The pirate explains the dark history here, This entire land is completely cursed, the result of the corrupted Count's sick, twisted experiments. Because of that dark magic, every single monster in the zone is infected. Their first job? Exterminate them all. A smile creeps onto Jayhun's face. He remembers this perfectly from his past life. Next step? Capturing the legendary goat-headed chimera. Game on. Now, this annoying beast? Super tricky, but totally beatable. June knows its exact spawn point. But wait, the pirate captain throws a huge curveball. They need the evil eye. Just like that, John's entire strategy shatters. Panic spreads fast. The evil eye? That is a level 150 cursed beast. Pure nightmare. But Sarabo doesn't care at all. No monster, no moving forward. Simple, right? Here's the catch. Only 4 teams get approved for this crazy mission. Either form an alliance right now, or drop out. No team? You are disqualified immediately. Absolute chaos explodes in the crowd. The pirate just laughs it off, saying participation is completely optional. Then he smugly wishes the brave ones good luck. Instantly, total madness breaks out. Players are literally sprinting toward the objective. But John? Just standing there. Frozen. Someone bumps into him mid-sprint, instantly recognizing our boy as Ha-Ho Mask. But he stops, totally confused. Why does the legendary mask look so stressed? Jayhun is spiraling right now. Why isn't the timeline matching his past life? The future is warping right before his eyes, and he desperately needs answers. In his mind, it breaks down to 2 options. 1. His regression completely altered the timeline. Or 2. His memories from the past life are completely wrong. Now, he has to figure out which nightmare is actually the reality. Cut to Singlet. He's trekking through the cursed zone, radioing his boss to kick off the main quest immediately. But his real goal? The second this ends, he's hunting down Ha-Ho Mask. Fast forward a bit, a massive chimera suddenly drops in on some random players. One guy is fighting for his life out there, dodging, weaving, screaming for his mages to hurry up. Nuppy yells back that he needs more time to cast. Tension is peaking. The monster goes entirely berserk, charging straight at their poor decoy player. Boom! The spell finally fires off. A massive fireball hits dead center, completely incinerating the beast. The bait player collapses, gasping for air as the victory system pops up. The squad is wiped, but Nuppy? No breaks. He orders everyone back into formation for Wave 2. But one teammate is already breaking down. He's begging to quit, terrified of those mutant goat chimeras. He's losing it, crying that this main quest is just way too insane. There is no way they can beat the top-tier guilds. Nuppy instantly snaps, telling him to shut up and focus. Why? Because something huge is happening near their